Stick with me here, because my daily life is pure chaos. I was helping Professor Lee organize lab chemicals and somehow accidentally cooked up a massive, toxic gas cloud. I sent the whole class straight to the hospital. New rule: zero unauthorized chemical mixing for students. Then I casually tried fixing up our clogged dorm plumbing. One tiny slip and half the dorm building completely caved in. New rule: absolutely no chemical agents for drain clearing. I finally managed to hop the fence to skip class and walked right into an active crime scene. New campus rule: absolutely no climbing walls or entering restricted off-limits areas anywhere. All this because I woke up transmigrated as the sole student in the paleontology department. Wild. I got pulled into a massive campus live stream called Campus Watch and accidentally awakened a crazy power, the campus rule system. Every single time my actions force the school to make a new rule, I score a lucky draw. Suddenly, the crazy rule book at West University blew up from 20 rules to 200. The whole school begged me to stop. No one could force me. Free rewards. Yeah, I am definitely not quitting. One day, following Professor Lee, I head to the undeveloped campus zone to grab soil samples for next week. It was for my big sedimentary environment class. I am happily humming and digging away. One loud boom and I am done. The whole place catches fire and the school flies straight up. Now pay attention here. Suddenly, heavy metallic clang echoes below, shooting a crazy jolt through my hands. Marcus leans in close with his camera. Dude, what on earth did you just hit? I shake my head and gently use my shovel to sweep away the loose dirt and rocks. A curved, super rusted piece of heavy metal slowly appears. I crouch right down and take a good look. That weird shape. It looks exactly like those anti-personnel landmines from war movies. This academy was built straight over an ancient abandoned burial ground. Could there actually be real war-era explosives buried down here? My stomach completely drops. I cannot be this unlucky. Did I actually unearth a real landmine? Then I remember that song I was just singing about blowing things up, and a freezing chill crawls up my spine. Marcus completely stumbles backward several steps. Oh heck no, man. Do not play with me like this. I have not even dated yet. At this exact moment, over 1,000 live stream viewers are absolutely going crazy. Viewer count +1 alerts keep flashing across the screen. Is this your big teacher day gift for the dean? Chill out. That is an anti-tank mine. A tiny bump will not trigger it. I used to use a grenade as a toy hammer growing up. When I realized what it actually was, my soul almost jumped entirely out of my body. That is literally nothing. Back home, Old Man Wang buried 3 tons of artillery shells right under his porch. They call that street the Miracle Highway. I totally ignore Marcus and jump into the hole, using a tiny brush to sweep away the dirt. Soon, a weird knob-like metal shape pops right out of the soil. I do not waste a single second. I dial Professor Lee. Hey, Professor. I think I just dug up a landmine. It is in the wasteland right by campus. There is a raised trigger switch on top. His voice gets super tight. Do not touch it at all. I'm coming right now. He hangs up before I can even reply. Under 15 minutes later, Professor Lee comes sprinting. He does not even bother wiping the heavy sweat off his face. He crouches and inspects it. After a tense moment, he starts scraping dirt away with a tiny trowel. Marcus and I step back, waiting for the blast, but the boom never happens. After a few gentle scoops, he pulls the whole thing out super easily. Nothing to panic about. You and I both braced for it, right? It is literally just a pressure cooker lid. I toss it away. Who dumps cooking gear here? Professor Lee just laughs out loud and shakes his head. Better safe than sorry. Keep sampling and stay safe. And just like that, he leaves. The stream chat is absolutely dying from laughter. Viewership completely spikes again. This guy needs to transfer to culinary school. They are literally delivering pot lids to him. I honestly thought that boom song was coming true. Imagine the academy actually blowing up over a simple lid. Marcus completely loses it and starts laughing out loud. I shoot him an angry glare. What is so funny? Get down here and dig. He makes a face. I am the cameraman. This is your homework. I hop back down into the dirt pit. Zip it. Dig over there or you are buying your own dinner later. That quiets him down. He grabs a heavy shovel with a completely miserable expression on his face. Campus Watch is an official show by the education department. 20 lucky students were chosen to be followed and broadcast 24/7. After 2 full months, the student with the highest views scores a massive education grant. Every cameraman holds a hidden lens, and for the whole time, Marcus must eat, sleep, and stay wherever I do. If I skip feeding him, he just starves. And trust me, that is why he finally grabs his shovel and starts digging right beside me. I just stare down into my empty hole. Let's dive in. I refuse to believe. My luck is awful. Today, we find greatness. I keep swinging the shovel. Less than 5 minutes later, a much heavier, solid clang rings out. I quickly clear the dirt away with extreme care. Marcus hears it and rushes right over. Man, please tell me that is not another pot lid. By now, my hands are literally trembling. The shape, the structure, it completely matches what I saw in military magazines. An aerial bomb. Marcus completely freezes. Wow, that is a real bomb. I cannot even answer. I just stare. I call Professor Lee again. I actually found a real bomb this time. A clear pause hits the line. Didn't we just handle that pressure cooker lid? I almost want to cry right now. I found another one. This one has a metal body and tail fins. A long, exhausted sigh comes through the phone. Stay right there. I am coming. This time, Professor Lee arrives faster. He leans in, looking, and his expression completely freezes. He grabs his phone to make a quick phone call. Dean Carter, we have a huge situation. Our paleontology student Liam just dug up something that really looks like an aerial bomb. On the phone, Dean Carter's voice cracks instantly. What? A real aerial bomb? Nobody moves. I am on my way. The call ends before Dean Carter rushes over. The vice dean and campus security are right behind him. When he sees the pit, beads of sweat break out across his entire forehead. He immediately calls the police, turning to shout at his assistant. Get all the campus security out here right now. Watch closely now. Tell every department to keep all the students far away from this wasteland. Within minutes, campus security comes sprinting over and quickly starts setting up a tight perimeter. Across the entire campus, students immediately begin to evacuate. The live stream viewers catch all of this wild action happening in real time. Viewership explodes again, breaking 10,000 instantly and climbing at a jaw-dropping pace. I knew that song about blowing up the school was cursed. Called it. Liam really digs up something like this. Does the school give him a demerit or a shiny medal? Right then, several police cars come screaming onto the chaotic scene. The car doors barely stop before Viper Squad Captain Jiang steps forward. Who is in charge here? What is the situation? Dean Carter quickly steps forward. I am the dean of this university. One of our students may have just uncovered an aerial bomb. Please take a look. Captain Jiang does not hesitate. He walks straight toward the pit, waving everyone back to maintain a safe distance. We scramble back another 10 meters without being told twice. He grabs a radiation detector and carefully circles the metal object, slowly scanning every angle. 0 anomalies detected. Then he activates the X-ray imaging system. The operator behind him begins his detailed report. The interior is completely hollow. No explosive materials detected. The structural profile perfectly matches a high-pressure container. Captain Jiang signals the team to run a chemical sniff test. Several officers gather rust particles and air samples, quickly beginning their detailed analysis. 1 minute later, the officer reports no TNT or explosive compounds are detected. Primary components are iron oxide and sulfide compounds, just corrosion byproducts from long-term burial. Captain Jiang nods, grabs a shovel, and starts digging himself. Within moments, he pulls out a heavily rusted gas canister. Dean Carter, it is confirmed safe. If there is nothing else, we will head out. Dean Carter rushes forward, shaking his hand. Thank you so much, officers. Truly. After a brief exchange, the police cars file right out of campus one by one. Dean Carter signals security to take down the perimeter, then walks over to me. So, you must be Liam, sharp kid. Nothing to worry about now at all. Get back to your work. Cannot let your studies fall behind. Our paleontology program is heavily counting on you to carry it forward. I break into a grin. Thank you, Dean Carter. He gives a nod and quickly leaves with his group. Professor Lee pauses before heading out, giving me a funny look. I genuinely thought you were trying to blow up the school today. All right, keep at it. Call me if anything comes up. And with that, he is gone too. I watch them walk away. Then I turn back to the pit. You know what I am thinking, right? No way I am backing down. A plot this huge, and nothing real. Today, this hole and I go to war. I rub my hands together and raise the shovel again. But barely 3 minutes in, that same familiar metallic clang rings out once more. I frown, deeply irritated. Are you serious right now? What is it this time? A wok? An enamel basin? Who buries their whole ancestral kitchen out here? After 2 false alarms, I swing the shovel hard into the surrounding dirt, clipping the buried metal objects several times. Each dull, heavy thud echoes sharply across the open ground. And then, a cold, mechanical voice suddenly rings inside my head. Player's continuous extreme reckless behavior detected. Activation conditions met. System binding in progress. A glowing blue panel appears, and trust me, you are going to love what happens next. Stick with me here. My entire body freezes mere inches from this massive metal object. I stare at the panel, totally chilled. What on earth? A 500-kilogram aerial bomb holding 300 kilograms of TNT. Thinking about what I just did, repeatedly slamming my shovel right into it, makes my hair stand totally on end. A split second later, I snap right back into stark reality. I grab Marcus, who is still standing there completely dazed, and we absolutely sprint. We do not stop until we are several hundred meters away. He is totally out of breath, gasping hard. Dude, what just happened? I look back with a dark, grim smile. If I told you I actually found a genuine aerial bomb this time around, would you believe me? He instantly shakes his head. The stream viewership keeps surging rapidly. The entire chat is totally flooded with jokes. Here we go again. That expression looks real, but what does a college kid know about aerial bombs? He probably just scared himself silly. Prize question. Gas canister or oxygen tank this time? Looking right at Marcus, I am sweating entirely through my shirt. I call Professor Lee again. His voice sounds tired and completely flat. Liam, what now? Do not tell me you found another bomb. I am shaking. Professor Lee, this time it is real. A 500-kilogram bomb. Heavy silence. I am on my way. He hangs up, and barely a single moment passes before he comes rushing right over. Taking one look from far away, his face visibly loses all color. He immediately tries reaching Dean Carter, but absolutely no one answers. His face turns completely pale, and he dials emergency services right away. Not long after, police cars pull right up to the edge of the wasteland again. Captain Jiang barely steps out of his vehicle before Professor Lee quickly hurries over to meet him. Officers, I am so incredibly sorry to call you back. Now watch closely. What we found may genuinely be a bomb. Captain Jiang nods firmly, marching right up to the pit. He leans over the edge, staring down for several seconds. Then he snaps completely upright, waving his arm wildly. Everyone fall back. 100 meters. Establish a level 2 security perimeter. We instantly scramble back without hesitation. Meanwhile, his team moves at top speed, setting up detection equipment safely while maneuvering a remote-controlled robot right toward the open pit. Within mere moments, the instruments suddenly erupt in rapid, urgent alarms. A squad member loudly calls out readings. Radiation levels abnormal. Internal structure complex. Central axis and distinct compartments detected. Clear traces of TNT and ReDX confirmed. There is definitely live explosive inside. The exact moment those words land, Captain Jiang shoots to his feet, roaring loudly with everything he truly has. Everyone fall back. 500 meters now. He yanks out his radio, switches to the emergency channel. and fires off an extremely urgent report to command. This is West Shore University. Undeveloped zone. Fully confirmed. Large unexploded aerial bomb discovered. Estimated weight 500 kilograms. Contains TNT and RDX. Radiation readings completely abnormal. Fuse condition unstable. Requesting the highest level emergency response. Seal off a 3-kilometer radius. Evacuate all personnel right immediately. The very second he finishes, he spins toward Professor Lee and loudly shouts, "Get every single student off this campus right now." You and I know chat is completely stunned. Is this actually a 500-kilogram aerial bomb? That absolute monster could flatten the entire university district. Did Liam literally get blessed by some higher magical power, or what? At this rate, the school is definitely going to see way more open sky soon. Bless the internet. We are literally watching a live bomb discovery happen. Meanwhile, back on the ground, Professor Lee furiously calls Dean Carter over and over, but absolutely nobody answers him. Stomping with intense frustration, he pulls up the faculty group chat and firmly holds down the voice message button. All faculty, listen closely. A high-danger explosive has been found in the undeveloped zone. Get every single student near you moving. Evacuate quickly and calmly to Jade Lake Park, 3 kilometers out. Within mere seconds of that message sending, students start rapidly pouring out of the academic buildings. Then the massive library, the dorms, the cafeteria. Students flood out from absolutely everywhere. Guided by their teachers, they frantically surge toward the campus exits. Not long after, an air raid siren explodes from the tall broadcast tower. At the exact same time, nearby Viper Squad radios heavily crackle with a massive flood of incoming reports. CBRN Unit Advance Team is on site. City Emergency Command Vehicle is completely in position. 3-kilometer perimeter established. Initial lockdown complete. Specialized teams deployed to evacuate nearby residential areas. By now, the whole wasteland is completely ringed by police vehicles. Right then, Commissioner Chen from the main city police arrives on scene. He strides up to the command vehicle, demanding a full briefing. Captain Zhang instantly steps forward. Preliminary assessment ready. World War II aerial bomb left behind. The metal casing is heavily corroded. Fuse condition unknown. On-site disarming carries extreme risk. If we can safely transport it to a secure zone for controlled detonation, that would definitely be the safer option. Commissioner Chen frowns and thinks it over. But the moment I hear that, I desperately shout, "You cannot move that bomb." Chen frowns. Who is this kid? Honestly, you and I need to see what the captain does next. You and I are about to meet Liam, the kid who dug it up. Commissioner Chen snaps. This is ridiculous. Why is he still here? Get him out of here. Captain Zhang, worried I might be in shock, hurries right over. Liam, please do not worry. Our professionals will handle this. I shake my head, super serious. You guys really do not recognize this bomb. This is a German SC-500, especially modified variant. It was designed specifically to shatter reinforced fortifications. After 70+ years underground, the metal fatigue and severe corrosion have made the fuse dangerously sensitive and incredibly fragile. One wrong move, the fuse triggers and blows instantly. If it goes off during transport, you get the absolute maximum blast force. The sheer damage would be totally beyond calculation. When I finish, every single person on site freezes completely rigid. Everyone stands perfectly still. Professor Lee leans in, looking amazed. Liam, I honestly had no idea you knew any of this. How come you didn't recognize anything the first 2 times? I casually scratched the back of my head. I read about this exact bomb model once. A full technical breakdown right inside a military reference book. Before those words even settle, Captain Zhang bolts into the communications vehicle. Now pay attention here. 10 minutes later, he hands Commissioner Chen a printed report. Every single thing Liam said matches perfectly. I confidently step forward. The only safe option is a controlled detonation right here. Dean Carter hears that and his knees give out. He nearly hits the floor. Commissioner Chen sharply frowns at Captain Zhang. How confident are you in an on-site detonation? Captain Zhang grits his teeth. The largest I have ever handled was 100 kilograms. For 500, experts are practically non-existent. I could try to disarm it. I cut him off immediately. No, you will definitely get yourself taken out. Commissioner Chen looks at me. Liam, if you have a real idea, say it. I take a slow, deep breath. My recommendation is a controlled on-site detonation. With careful preparation, we minimize the blast. I have a plan. The core idea is controlled energy release combined with full perimeter protection. I casually walk over to the command vehicle, grab a tactical tablet, and quickly sketch out a three-dimensional diagram. Layer 1, the core blast zone. Dig a trench around the bomb pit, 8 meters deep, with 60-degree angled inner walls. A proper blast-cut trench. Lower the bomb down. Pack in 1 meter of flexible energy-absorbing sandbags in very tight layers. Then place 5 meters of wet sand on top. Cap it completely with heavy steel mesh panels to direct the shockwave straight up. Layer 2, seismic isolation. Dig a ring trench 8 meters deep and 3 meters wide, reaching down to bedrock to completely cut off the seismic wave. This completely minimizes structural damage to the academic buildings. Layer 3, simple shockwave and fragmentation control. Stack 200 tons of sandbags and water barriers around the outer trench. That easily absorbs the shockwave and traps any hazardous dust. And when you place those emulsion explosive charges, make absolutely sure the primary blast force gets directed straight upward toward the sky. Pure silence. The entire site goes absolutely, completely still. You and I both know this is wild. Everyone stares like I stepped out of a sci-fi movie. Captain Zhang slaps his thigh, bursting with excitement. This kid is an absolute genius. This plan is incredibly solid. It actually works. It perfectly integrates blast mechanics, structural engineering, and seismic defense systems. The thinking here is straight up on a military grade level. Commissioner Chen does not hesitate. He makes the call immediately. We go with this plan. Mobilize every single engineering resource we have. Get that protection system built as fast as physically possible. Moments after the order drops, West Shore University transforms into a massive construction site. 3 tense hours later, Captain Zhang walks over and gives the final report. All systems ready. Commissioner Chen immediately orders the full evacuation. I fall in with the main group, safely pulling back to Jade Lake Park, 3 kilometers out. Commissioner Chen slowly triggers the alert siren. That piercing wail sharply cuts across the entire park. Then boom, a massive blast violently tears through the air, coming straight from the direction of West Shore University. A giant mushroom cloud forcefully punches right into the sky. The explosion ends in a flash. Thankfully, we are standing far enough back. Only small chunks of dirt and rocks safely rain down around us. Nobody gets hurt. After the wild chaos finally settles, every single face shows the exact same look. Pure, exhausted relief. Then, calm voice chimes in from inside the main command vehicle. Shockwave peak within projected range. Structural vibration in the academic buildings sits safely below the threshold. Radiation spiked briefly, now dropping back to normal. Commissioner Chen casually picks up his radio, remaining calm as ever. Fire suppression teams, move in. On his command, a huge fleet of fire trucks rolls toward the blast site to cool it down and clear the dust. Specialized units enter the core zone, beginning a full spectrum scan. 1 hour later, the entire threat is completely neutralized. Once the follow-up cleanup work gets fully underway, Commissioner Chen and Captain Zhang come find me. So what do you and I take from this? Simple. Liam, we owe you. You are officially getting the Courage Award and that cash prize. Stick with me. We are diving right in. My eyes scrunch into a huge smile. Thanks a ton, Commissioner. Commissioner Chen gives my shoulder a solid pat. You are incredible, kid. If you ever want to join the police force after graduation, my door is always open. Professor Lee's eyebrows shoot straight up. Hey, Commissioner, He is literally the only student in our entire department. Do not dare poach him. I scratch my head. Sorry, Commissioner. I love my field way too much. Commissioner Chen chuckles. Fair enough. I will not push it. After quick goodbyes, he leads his team out. Professor Lee looks at me, eyes full of proud warmth. Not bad, kid. Tomorrow I am submitting you for the scholarship this semester. I shoot him a look. I am the only student in this department. Who else would get it? Professor Lee laughs awkwardly. Your assignments are not done yet. You do want to pass, right? I let out a very dry laugh. If I fail, our department hits a 100% failure rate. Think about that. Marcus stands there speechless. The live stream chat absolutely goes wild. Pay 1 tuition and get elite professors teaching you one-on-one. You and I know that is the best deal ever. Niche major, winner takes all. Anyone else scores 59? Total disaster. But if Liam scores 59, the teachers panic. Professor Lee lets out a huge, helpless sigh. Fine, you win. We cannot do any field sampling for a while anyway. I am changing your assignment. Swing by my office and grab some cool rock samples. I need you to identify exactly what fossils are inside each one. I just nod. He turns and walks away, while I head back to the dorm with Marcus. My other 3 roommates are transfers from totally different departments. The second I walk in, they absolutely swarm me. Liam, did you hear? The campus almost blew up. That huge explosion just now was absolutely insane. I'm still trying to explain things when a sudden knock hits the door. Dean Carter is standing there alongside our dorm supervisor. All 3 roommates jump straight to their feet. Dean Carter waves them off. Relax, guys. Then he turns to me with a big smile. Liam, I'm here to thank you personally. If you had not dug up that explosive and planned that safe detonation, this school faced total ruin. On behalf of Westeror University, I officially announce a 50,000 yuan cash prize, a campus-wide commendation, and a special citation permanently added to your academic record. As for that undeveloped zone, please stay out. We are bringing in elite specialists for a complete sweep. I flash a grin. Do not worry, Dean Carter. Professor Lee already gave me a new task. Satisfied, he leaves. Watch closely, because here is where our story gets wild. In bed, I open the interface to check the campus rule system. Every time the player triggers a new campus rule, 1 draw chance is instantly awarded. I just stare at it for a moment. It is not like I own this school. I cannot just invent new rules. But then again, this thing did warn me about that explosive. Maybe keeping this around is not so bad. The next morning, I head straight to the cafeteria with my roommates. We barely reach the entrance when we see a massive crowd around the notice board. 2 brand new campus rules are freshly posted. Students are completely prohibited from digging pits on campus without authorization. Second, no singing modified versions of the school anthem anywhere. Right on cue, the mysterious system chimes brightly inside my head. Player triggered 2 new campus rules, so 2 draw chances are awarded. Marcus and my roommates are barely holding back their huge grins. I shrug helplessly. Come on, let us go eat. The live stream viewers lose their minds, and chat floods with wild stories. One viewer types, our school demands parents at meetings be 50 years old. Why? Because one girl brought her 27-year-old brother as guardian, and he literally ended up eloping with the homeroom teacher, who just happened to be the principal's own daughter. Another says, our school bans outside food, forbids trash inside trash cans, and allows 0 paper in the bathrooms. Every single crazy rule has a backstory. Every single one. Like, dating is perfectly fine here, but your partner absolutely must be a human. After breakfast, I head straight to Professor Lee's office. I knock. Still 0 answer. I walk into the empty room. Marcus whispers, maybe we should wait. I roll my eyes. Wait for what? I start searching the whole office, but there are absolutely no rock samples anywhere. Just as I go to call him, my eyes lock onto a high-tech temperature-controlled cabinet sitting nearby. Inside are several heavy, dark objects with a massive warning label slapped on the front. Danger! Do not touch! I break into a grin. Finally, I found them. Why hide them all the way in here? I open the cabinet. Inside sit 3 bizarrely shaped rocks, each resting on thick foam padding. I give one a tap. Yep, these must be the ones, but they are massive. How am I supposed to study them? To see those fossils, I have to break them wide open. I think for a second, then wave Marcus right over. What do you and I think happens next? We haul them to the court, and I borrow a massive sledgehammer from the bomb site. Stick with me, watch this mistake. I wind up and swing hard at it. 2 swings. The rock doesn't flinch. I take a deep breath, haul the massive hammer high overhead, and smash it down with everything I have. Boom! The rock completely explodes. It totally shatters. A dozen razor-sharp pieces blast outward, flying wildly in every single direction. The heavy sledgehammer slips from my hands, hitting the dirt hard. What the heck? This thing is supposed to be a fossil. Right then, Marcus frantically points down, yelling, "The ground? It's cracking." My eyes go wide. No way, that crazy rock just hit like a grenade. Marcus gulps hard. Dude, does Professor Lee actually hate your guts? I shoot him a glare. What are you even talking about? I line up the very last rock and bring the hammer down with perfectly controlled force. Bam! Another huge sound explodes. This time, it blasts a half-meter wide hole straight through the ground. Cold, damp air suddenly rushes up from somewhere deep below. The live stream chat is completely stunned. Viewership absolutely skyrockets. Just yesterday, he was handling a live aerial bomb. Today his rocks are literally detonating. This guy is out here speed running his doom. I knew a classmate exactly like him once. He left peacefully in the end. Real calm. First time I've ever seen someone hammer detonate a rock. Are these like giant snap pop fireworks, or what? I swallow hard. My mind goes completely and utterly blank. What kind of fossil explodes like a shaped charge? In that massive hole, there is absolutely no bottom in sight. Pay attention here. Things get completely wild. My new award. Money probably won't cover this disaster. I immediately call Professor Lee. He casually answers, and I hear him sipping tea. Oh Liam, I left the actual fossil samples in your dorm room. Go check them out whenever you get back. I completely freeze. Wait, the fossils aren't the ones inside your office's temperature cabinet? Professor Lee's tone instantly shifts gears. Tell me you didn't open that cabinet. I let out a super pained laugh and whisper. Yeah. He sucks in a sharp breath. What did you do? I nearly cry out. Why didn't you warn me not to touch them? I thought they were the samples. I took them out. Professor Lee's voice shoots up a whole octave. Don't you dare tell me you set them off? I quietly mumble, yeah. His voice is totally shaking now. Are you okay? Those are high-pressure sealed rocks. Even the slightest impact, and they will detonate instantly. I keep them in that temperature cabinet to control the conditions and prevent any triggering. Are you trying to get yourself utterly crushed? I pout. I am fine. I just hit them a few times with the sledgehammer. Professor Lee goes totally silent. In all my years, no one has ever rummaged through my office like that. No one except you. Karma really is real, isn't it? I shrug helplessly. Whether it is karma or not, I can't say. But there is now a massive hole in the sports court. When Dean Carter asks what happened, I'm telling him you sent me out here to run experiments. Professor Lee is completely thrown off. Are you serious right now? Those tiny rocks shouldn't have anywhere near that insane amount of force. I roll my eyes. Don't believe me? Come see it for yourself. His voice goes super urgent. I'm on my way. Stay right there. He hangs up before I can say another word. Less than 10 minutes later, he comes sprinting over, gasping hard for breath. He flips on his phone flashlight and shines it down into the massive hole. This just can't be right. Those rocks shouldn't have ever produced this kind of force. You feel that tension building up? The words barely leave his mouth when a faint cracking sound reaches our ears. All 3 of us instantly look down. A tiny hairline crack runs along the hole's edge, and in an absolute instant, it becomes as wide as a finger. Professor Lee snaps a prite. Move. Everyone get back right now. We've barely stepped away when huge cracks explode from around the hole, racing outward in every single direction. I take off sprinting full speed, not stopping until I'm several hundred meters away. When I turn around, a massive sinkhole over 50 meters wide has totally swallowed the ground where we were just standing. The live stream goes silent for a few seconds, then absolutely erupts. Viewership completely shoots straight through the roof. You stare into the deep abyss, and it literally swallows the ground. Is Liam actually cursed? Like, genuinely, 100% cursed. Yesterday, an aerial bomb. Today, he collapses a sports court. How is the school standing? We cautiously walk back toward the collapsed edge and look inside. It is a pit 30 meters deep. From the dark bottom comes the constant, loud sound of rushing water. A thick ruptured pipe is gushing water straight up. Right then, the mysterious system suddenly chimes inside my head. Large-scale geological collapse event detected. Environmental data analysis module activated. Geological scan complete. A massive underground cavity exists beneath the collapse zone. Cause is piping erosion. The main underground water supply pipe began a slow, chronic leak 3 years ago. The foundation fill in this specific area consists of loose sandy clay brought from elsewhere. Prolonged leaking has steadily eroded and completely washed away the fine soil particles, forming this massive, dangerous underground cavity. Everything suddenly clicks. No wonder the ground gave way so incredibly easily. Can you believe it? The whole thing was hollowed underneath. Professor Lee stares into the sinkhole and mutters, "Liam, when Dean Carter gets here, try to be a little less. You, come along with me here." The words barely escape before Dean Carter violently charges inside, with frantic officials practically tripping over themselves. "Liam, what you did? You will seriously give me a heart attack soon." I casually shrug. What does any of this have to do with me? Dean Carter completely loses his absolute mind. He points directly at the crater with shaking hands. "We have a 50-meter hole, and you claim this has absolutely nothing to do with you?" I let out a patient sigh. "Dean Carter, do you honestly believe a single student could actually create a sinkhole like this? Just look very closely. That rusty water pipe leaked for years. The second that tiny hole cracked open, I instantly heard rushing water down below. Years of endless leaking slowly kept washing away all the fine particles underneath the fill soil. Over time, it slowly carved an absolute massive hollow directly below us. The ground surface was just a fragile shell. My rock blast merely happened to pierce right through it. I stand up confidently. I did absolutely nothing wrong today. Honestly, I just did our entire academy a huge favor. Just think about it. If this hidden trap collapsed during a massive school event instead, could you ever live with the terrible consequences? Professor Lee quickly nods, fully understanding my point. The kid is totally right. A civil engineering professor easily confirms my crazy theory. Dean Carter takes a very long, heavy breath. "Liam, sincerely apologize. My harsh tone was totally out of line. Do not take it personally. Let me buy you dinner and add another 20,000 to your award." I blink. "Dean Carter, you are far too generous. Protecting this academy is simply my duty. But regarding dinner, could I maybe just pocket the extra cash instead?" The entire crowd goes completely dead silent. Dean Carter awkwardly nods and agrees. Right then, a long line of flashing police cars quickly pulls up onto the chaotic scene. Leading the pack is the familiar face of Commissioner Chen. He takes one hard look at the massive 50-meter crater, letting out a heavy, sharp breath. "Now, pay very close attention here." He firmly shakes Dean Carter's hand, sighing that whatever wild mystery hides beneath this campus feels perfectly designed just to test his absolute mental limits. Then he quickly discovers this crazy sinkhole involves me again. He pats my shoulder, showing pure and utter, absolute defeat. "Liam, our annual police performance goals are getting totally shattered by one college kid." I laugh very awkwardly. "You seriously cannot blame this giant mess on me today." Commissioner Chen simply nods and works. A security perimeter goes up instantly, while technical squads eagerly scan the deep pit below with high-grade gear. Their results perfectly match my exact logic. All that remains is filling it up and restoring the destroyed ground. But suddenly, an incredibly massive, muffled thud echoes from the dark bottom. Commissioner Chen violently barks a rapid tactical order. The ground is caving again. Everyone fall back. We scramble safely away, then slowly peek over the terrifying new edge. A massive dark wall sits fully exposed down there. Right at its base lies a gigantic rusty, blast-proof iron vault door. The center features a gigantic iron wheel, needing multiple strong guys to rotate. Commissioner Chen frantically shouts out intense new commands. Tech squad, run a full structural scan on those walls. Radiation crew, quickly sweep the door area. Air unit, grab gas samples from those door seams. Everyone else behind the safety line. Engineering team, prep for full structural reinforcements. Teams move the second those orders drop. My eyes stay totally locked on that iron vault door. The system suddenly chimes inside my head. Target analysis done. A massive civil defense shelter built directly between the late 1960s and early 1970s. Constructed just for that intense geopolitical climate and extreme nuclear threat. Originally owned by a highly classified government squad. After they finally relocated, a missing record left this exact location completely forgotten forever. You saw this coming, right? Buried under fill soil and built over by our university. Everything finally makes sense. I clear my throat. Guys, this might be a massive civil defense shelter. I have read about these. During that intense nuclear era, they built them everywhere across our country. But over time, most were completely forgotten. Just look at that huge arched blast door and those insanely thick concrete walls. Classic features of civil defense construction from the 60s and 70s era. Everyone nods, quietly processing the crazy revelation. But Commissioner Chen severely frowns. A massive underground bunker this size, and nobody knew? I just give a calm, confident smile. If this was a top-secret project, one single misplaced file easily erases its entire existence from history completely. Professor Lee starts breathing heavily. If true, the tech inside could be absolutely priceless. Commissioner Chen wastes zero time. He violently commands the heavy vault open. The rusty door swings wide, while blazing flashlight beams pierce the blackness, revealing a spooky corridor descending straight down underground. He is just preparing his tactical squad when a sudden thunderous roar violently rips across the sky. Directly above us, everyone looks up in pure shock. A massive military helicopter cuts through the clouds straight toward our campus, aggressively forcing a rough landing nearby. An elite squad of fully armed soldiers steps out. Trust me, you're going to want to watch this. A white-haired elder steps down. Commissioner Chen salutes instantly. Sir, I am Chen Ming, West Shore City Police Commissioner. The officer returns the salute. Commissioner Chen, meet General Han. We know exactly what is happening here. Effective immediately, the military is taking full command of the site. General Han is now fully in charge. Commissioner Chen completely agrees. The general steps right up, eyes locked on the iron door. Let's dive in together. He smiles warmly. Kid, I caught your live stream. Spotting this as a hidden defense shelter? Absolutely brilliant. Come down with me. And just like that, he confidently leads us right through the dark door. Dozens of strong flashlight beams illuminate the dark corridor perfectly like daylight. Closed doors line both sides of the hallway. Commissioner Chen gently opens one. Inside, old yellow documents are tossed absolutely everywhere. A history professor grabs one, then completely freezes up. Wow, these are top-secret nuclear research documents. Commissioner Chen quickly scans a page. General Han, this crazy material has to be classified, right? The general's expression stays completely mysterious. Not anymore. I just never wanted this history forgotten. Commissioner Chen urgently waves his officers over. Secure this entire room. Nobody touches anything until the experts safely arrive. We keep moving and check a few more rooms. Several are packed with vintage radios and giant telephone switchboards. Other spaces are old bunk rooms. Papers absolutely scattered across the floor. Whoever evacuated this place definitely left in a massive rush. We head down 2 whole levels. A wide hall splits into several mysterious tunnel entrances. We choose one, following it deep down, and uncover a massive armory. A tech forces the heavy iron door open. Inside, on the left, dozens of Type 56 rifles and Type 54 submachine guns. In the center, massive crates absolutely stuffed with heavy reserve ammunition. Next to those, classic Type 67 grenades piled into a literal mountain. On the right, perfect rows of heavy rocket rounds. Watch closely now. An officer loudly gasps. The sheer firepower hidden here is absolutely insane. I freeze completely. That massive aerial bomb yesterday was already wild. But if this entire armory suddenly exploded, the whole university gets completely wiped out. My live stream chat goes totally wild. Viewership rapidly explodes. This is literally the ultimate dream survival bunker. Fully armed, it barely matters how many monsters show up. If a legendary television where hero found this exact stash, he would instantly become completely unstoppable, rewriting history and building monuments for his girl. Commissioner Chen quickly snaps us back. Document absolutely everything. Take clear photos, but nobody touches a single thing. General Han simply stands there quietly. It really looks like this legendary place is pulling him right back into past memories. Leaving the armory, we follow the general down to the absolute lowest level, the research zone. We rapidly pass huge testing labs and massive old data record rooms. Both hold totally rare, absolutely irreplaceable research documents. Decades ago, giant discoveries like these would have easily shaken the globe. Now, they are simply fascinating historical artifacts. You and I know this is crazy. We hit the deepest zone. A massive metal door blocks us, completely sealed with incredibly complex mechanical vault locks. Right on the door, a giant radiation warning symbol. A tech slowly lifts his scanner straight to the metal gap. The scanner immediately screams. The local radiation levels are far beyond safe limits. Commissioner Chen instantly orders absolutely everyone back. General Han looks visibly shaken. Only 2 brave officers wearing full protective suits stay behind. Using heavy hydraulic tools, they force the giant door open. Sitting right there, inside, a 2.5-meter nuclear device. Nobody stops to process this absolute shock. Everyone instantly spins completely around and sprints outside. We barely breathe until reaching the bottom of the upper sinkhole. Commissioner Chen starts shouting rapid orders. Seal the main entrance now. Evacuate all regular staff back exactly 1 kilometer. Alert the Chemical Defense Division and Nuclear Energy Authority. The entire place suddenly erupts into absolute chaos. When everybody finally catches their breath, General Han sighs heavily. Everyone, stay completely calm. That wild thing down there absolutely will not explode. It is totally incomplete. Even decades ago, they knew it could never trigger a chain reaction. It is just a dud. Otherwise, they never would have abandoned it. That finally drops the intense panic down, just a tiny bit. Commissioner Chen quickly finds Dean Carter. This unfinished device still poses a potential radiation leak risk. Please evacuate absolutely everyone off this campus right away. Dean Carter, looking totally pale, begins shouting orders. The massive air raid siren angrily wails across campus again. Within minutes, the campus looks exactly like yesterday's regular drill. Students quickly march out in neat lines, safely guided by teachers. Moments later, heavy military vehicles, hazard trucks, and specialized engineering units come rolling in. Hours pass. A squad of top emergency experts finishes assessing the massive danger and immediately starts arguing loudly inside the temporary command tent. What do you and I think? The expert slams the table. Shielding layer gets built first. Stick with me here. Watch the experts panic. Seal it, then move it. The guy in gold glasses jumps up. Heavy equipment cannot fit. Moving it by hand is too risky. Someone suggests a helicopter airlift. The senior expert shuts that down immediately. Are you completely crazy? If that thing detonates mid-air, everything for several kilometers is turning into pure dust. The seconds tick away. The argument hits an absolute wall. I clear my throat loudly. Maybe we could use a rail system. Every single head in that room snaps toward me. The experts all share the exact same look. Pure doubt. General Han stares over. Kid, whatever you are thinking, just say it out loud. No wrong answers. I scratch my head. I was paying close attention earlier. From the main entrance down to the device room, there are 2 short staircases. But honestly, the corridor itself is mostly flat and incredibly straight. We lay down modular, lightweight rails right through it. We construct a custom heavy-duty shockproof transport container on wheels. Then, we use a strong winch to send the empty box inside. Then we use a remote hydraulic transfer system to slide that nuclear device sideways, right into the container. The entire process stays totally flat. No tilting, zero jolting, full control. Then we seal it shut and winch it back up the rails. A heavy transport vehicle with a lead-line box is waiting right at the surface. Maximum protection against physical shock and any dangerous radiation. The second I finish, General Han faces the shocked experts. What do you guys think? The white-haired expert pushes up his glasses. This method is seriously genius. It perfectly balances safety and real-world logic. The others all slowly nod. General Han makes the call without hesitating. We are going with Liam's plan. Get those materials moving right now. Commissioner Chen gets to work instantly. The stream chat goes completely and utterly silent. Pay close attention. You and I are seeing the chat explode. They came for fun, not to watch a kid outsmart actual nuclear scientists. A major crisis that stumped top specialists, solved by a college student. Liam is on an entirely different level. Yesterday's huge bomb solution was already wild. Today, he perfectly cracks a nuclear crisis. This guy is getting recruited whether he likes it or not. I wanted to show my parents a relaxing stream. Liam is stirring up chaos, making every other kid look totally average by comparison. It is genuinely so demoralizing. The chat is pure hyped up chaos. Meanwhile, outside, the real operation is in full swing. 2 hours pass. You feel that tension, right? The dangerous phase starts now. Every single pair of eyes is locked onto those monitors. Nobody dares to even breathe. They watch the nuclear device get slowly and carefully pushed inch by inch into that container. Once the heavy container is fully sealed up, the motor pulls it steadily along the rails towards safety. Under the extremely tense gaze of everyone watching, the container rolls to a smooth stop at the sinkhole base. Next up, a hydraulic platform precisely lowers the container right into the lead-line unit. Moments after the final lock clicks shut, a tech officer stands up to report. All radiation levels are officially normal. The words barely leave his mouth before the whole site erupts in massive cheers. Combat engineers finally transport that huge nuclear threat away. The Heritage Authority team grabs all the critical documents. The heavy work continues past 8 p.m. before the underground civil defense shelter is finally cleared out completely. Once the dust finally settles, I am heading to the cafeteria for a late-night snack when General Han calls my name. Liam, none of this insane success happens without you. Honestly speaking, this specific location heavily connects to an old comrade of mine. I have searched for this for many years. Thank you. I quickly wave my hands. General Han, you are way too kind. Pure accident. General Han just warmly smiles. Have you ever considered a military academy? I can honestly arrange that for you immediately. I truly believe you are exactly who this country needs. Those heavy words land, and everyone in earshot lets out a quiet gasp. I just laugh awkwardly. Thank you, General Han. Truly, but I actually love what I am studying right now. General Han's smile does not fade at all. Good. That makes me like you even more. I respect your choice, but this open offer stands permanently. Come find me anytime. I break into a very shy grin. I will keep that in mind. Thank you, General Han. After a warm goodbye, the general boards his helicopter and quickly lifts off. Commissioner Chen leads his team out shortly after. Only the special unit remains behind, managing the leftover radiation levels. Dean Carter quietly sidles up to me. Liam, do you have a bank account? I will wire that money tonight. I pull out my card, handing it over without missing a single beat. Moments later, my phone vibrates. 71,000 yuan received. I thank the dean and pull Marcus away. That night in bed, I open up the system panel for 2 draws. Trust me, you and I are not ready for this. Stick with me here. A chime rings out. 2 draws used. And new skills unlock. Master of Ceremonies. I stare at the glowing panel, totally confused. What is that even useful for? I sigh heavily and go straight to sleep. Next morning, my roommates and I head down to grab food. Boom! A brand new campus rule posted. No hitting rocks anywhere on campus. And right on cue, the system chimes in my head again. New rule detected. 1 free draw awarded. Jason and Kevin are cracking up, slapping my shoulders. Liam, you are absolute magic. 3 rules in 2 days. I just roll my eyes, ignore them, and walk straight inside. Thanks to all the chaos, the school gives everyone a free day. After eating, we head back up to the dorm. I drag Professor Lee's massive rock pile onto the balcony. My roommates instantly panic and leap up to stop me. Liam, the rule says no hitting rocks on campus. I just grin. It says not on the ground. I won't be hitting the ground. I grab a rope, tie up a massive rock, and hang it right from the drying rack. Then I grab a heavy sledgehammer and start swinging straight downward. After a dozen heavy hits, crack, the solid stone snaps completely open and drops to the floor. I pick it up and check inside. Boom! A real bivalve fossil right there. Now I'm totally fired up. I swap the next rock in and keep swinging away. The second one is almost ready to crack. Now watch this closely. I swing the hammer down hard, but instantly, the balcony ceiling collapses. Plaster chunks crash absolutely everywhere. I cover my head and sprint inside. Jason coughs through the thick dust. Liam, you literally just smashed right through the balcony ceiling, man. Before he can even finish, a huge pile of debris crashes down, and 2 entire people fall with it. When the dust finally clears, we can clearly see them. A guy and a girl, both wearing school uniforms. My brain just stops. Marcus and the guys stand there frozen, mouths hanging open wide enough to fit a whole egg inside. The livestream chat is totally stunned too. Viewers just blasted past 100,000. Quick lesson for anyone who doesn't know. That outer roof wall is mostly hollow foam inside. It is definitely not solid concrete, and it never was. One good hit, and it falls right down. Something is seriously wrong with this dorm. Did those rocks actually have to be smashed? Keep swinging, and the whole entire building drops. I totally get Dean Carter's panic now. Love him or hate him, there is absolutely nothing you can do. Just then, sudden coughing cuts through the heavy silence. I snap right back to reality and quickly pull both of them inside the room. The guy wipes the thick dust off his face. Are you serious right now? We just wanted a quiet, peaceful exit together. Beside him, the girl just keeps wiping her tears. Is fading away really this complicated? I immediately jump in. Are you two okay? The guy just laughs, then out of nowhere starts singing. My face literally twitches. Great time for a song. After a quick round of questions, the whole dramatic picture finally comes together. The guy is Danny. The girl is Maya. They grew up side by side, absolute classic childhood sweethearts. They promised to marry right after graduation, but their families have this massive, long-standing feud going on. You and I both know parents can be stubborn. Neither side would budge. So Maya dressed as a boy to sneak onto the roof, hoping to just run away from it all. I stare at them and slowly roll my eyes. You aren't afraid to jump, but you are terrified of your own parents? That feud belongs to the older generation above you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you two. If you want it, just get married. They both stare at me completely wide. Get married? I nod. Throw a huge wedding. Show your parents exactly how serious you two are. They will come around, I promise. Danny laughs bitterly. I cannot afford a wedding, and even if I somehow could, nobody would show up. I grin. None of that is an issue. I will handle the whole wedding. I will even make you money in the process. We do it right here in the school cafeteria. Everyone just stares at me. Their eyes are practically falling right out of their heads. Jason grabs my arm. Is this actually going to work? There is absolutely no way the school agrees to this. I just curl my lip. Where there is a will, there is a way. Kevin steps up. Tell me exactly what you need. I am in. Jason nods along, totally catching the wild energy. Danny sees this, eyes going red again. Thank you, all of you. Considering these two were ready to jump not too long ago, I just throw an arm around Danny's shoulder. Let's do this today. We are going full traditional Chinese wedding. Go rent a proper set of traditional wedding outfits now. Now, he grabs Maya's hand and they bolt out the door. I take the guys with me and go work on convincing the cafeteria manager first. Then I go find Professor Lee. He hears my whole pitch and violently slams his hand down. This is totally absurd, completely out of the question. And now, you want me to plead your case to the dean? You want that done? Do it yourself. I sigh. Trust me, you and I both know paleontology gets pretty boring. Stick with me here. Rumor says the music department is full of gorgeous girls. Professor Lee violently slams his desk. You have got some nerve threatening me, kid. Fine, whatever. I will bring you to Dean Carter myself, but do not expect a yes. He leads me right into the dean's office. Shockingly, Dean Carter agrees instantly. That incident from a few days ago seriously has everyone on total edge. A fun wedding banquet is exactly what our campus needs today. It is too bad I have a client dinner tonight. Otherwise, I would give a speech myself. I thanked them both right away, waving goodbye to Professor Lee and Dean Carter. We sprint off to print out the flyers. Then, we set up our table right where the foot traffic is heaviest. As a huge crowd starts growing, quickly grab the megaphone. Tonight, our fellow alumni, Danny is getting married right here in Cafeteria 1. Everyone is welcome to join this epic party. Dean Carter made it completely official. Bring a gift, and you are in. The second I finish speaking, the crowd goes totally wild. Students whip out their phones, snapping photos and sharing everything. Soon, a ton of people start signing up to perform. Awesome volunteers pour in, helping decorate and setting out the wedding candy. Before we even know it, evening finally hits. Danny shows up with Maya right beside him, bringing both sets of their grandparents. The only elders supporting them. Now, pay close attention here. A massive line is currently snaking all the way from the main cafeteria entrance. Students flood in from every possible direction. Even plenty of professors show up just seeing what the hype is. An epic lion dance troupe kicks off their awesome performance. A gift table gets set up right by the entrance. I originally suggested 50 yuan per person as a rough guideline. However, these amazing students chip in way more than that entirely alone. Most give around 100, some dropping several hundred. The cafeteria is packed completely full. At least 1,500 wild people have shown up. Every single stage performance brings huge screams from the crowd. Soon, most people have happily eaten and drunk their fill. The music cuts out completely. Dressed in a traditional ceremonial robe, I step up as the wedding MC, walking boldly onto the stage. I scan the massive sea of faces below. Distinguished guests, on this auspicious day and hour, as lanterns begin glowing, we gather here together, witnessing one of life's absolute, most beautiful occasions. As the ancient Book of Rites tells us, marriage joins two families perfectly as one. It is the very foundation of human bonds, beginning all profound rites and harmony. Today, Danny of the Huang family and Maya of the Li family come together on this extremely blessed day. They are wed, bound by a beautiful bond, lasting 100 years. The moment I finish speaking, loud applause erupts. The live stream chat goes absolutely crazy. The viewer count explodes. That delivery, that perfect tone. Even a broadcasting major could never pull that off. You feel that shift, right? We are literally standing in a cafeteria, yet somehow, it feels exactly like a royal ceremony at the Grand Imperial Temple. That is the perfect vibe. My ancestral memory is activating right now. As the applause fades away, I raise my right hand and continue. This hall may have no carved beams or painted rafters, but it is deeply adorned with pure sincerity, though lacking gold or jade. 1,000 loyal hearts are truly here celebrating. Red ribbons hang high above, blazing with the fiery passion of our youth. Bright lights shine down, lighting the way toward the couple's future. In this moment, heaven and earth bear full witness. The hour is upon us. I raise my arm, pointing straight toward the far end of the red carpet. Please loudly welcome our newlyweds right into the hall. Every single person turns, looking exactly where I am pointing. Danny and Maya appear, dressed in brilliant red traditional wedding attire. They walk slowly toward us. As they approach, I carefully step aside. Bride and groom, please take your places at the altar. Compose yourselves. We will now perform the traditional wedding bow ceremony. First, bow to heaven and earth. We give profound thanks to the sky above and earth below for beautifully bringing these two souls together. The two of them move in absolute perfect time with my words. They bow extremely deeply toward the entrance. Second, bow to the elders. May our wonderful grandparents be blessed with long life and great prosperity, and may this family flourish for generations to come. The grandparents, seated at the head table, are already in tears, fully overcome with deep emotion. Third, bow. Husband and wife respectfully bow to each other, pledging to grow old together through every single lifetime. For this final meaningful bow, they bend much lower than ever before. As they rise, Danny reaches out, holding Maya's hand incredibly tight. I smile at them both. The ceremony is finally complete. I announce groom, bride, may your future shine as bright as it possibly can be. The entire cafeteria absolutely erupts. Trust me, you will love this. Kevin steals the mic, rushing the stage. Everyone, this whole wedding was totally planned by Liam. We demand Liam perform something for us right now. The hyped crowd goes wild at that. Cheers and chants ring out from every single corner. Faced with that kind of insane energy, I grab the mic back. How can I say no? Alright, I will perform something quick. And with that, I walk straight over to Wendy, the campus beauty, who just finished performing. Mind if I quickly borrow your gyujang? I carry it right to center stage. I quickly signal the sound crew to start the backing track. Alright, stick with me here. I grab the gyujang upright with one hand, and the opening melody of Yong Gong Shun explodes off those strings. Everyone freezes for a second, then heads start bobbing to the beat. My fingers pick up crazy speed. Some music department guys completely lose it. They grab their instruments and sprint right onto the stage. Right behind them, vocal performance girls sprint up too, circling the whole stage while singing and spinning around. Someone shouts, and suddenly, the entire crowd rushes the front of the stage. They go absolutely wild, dancing to every single beat of the gyujang. The cafeteria basically transforms into a massive dance floor. I am totally in the zone. When the first song ends, I launch straight into Red Sun with the entire crew backing me up. The room's energy hits its absolute maximum peak. Even the usually composed professors come down and join the dancing. This wild wedding goes on for over 2 hours. After students clear out, I hand Danny a huge stack of cash. After food and venue costs, he cleared over 60,000 yuan. Take it. Danny tries saying no, but my serious look stops him cold. He blinks back emotional tears and quietly just says, "Thank you." Just then, the cafeteria manager comes sprinting over. "Which one of you guys took the fish from Dean Carter's tank?" Jason nervously scratches the back of his head. "I thought they were just normal fish, so I had the culinary students fry them up." The manager stomps his feet in total panic. "The dean just got those rare fish this morning. Pay attention, things get chaotic here. He needed them for tonight. They are completely gone. And buying that specific fish this late at night is literally impossible." I grab the manager's hand before he literally tears his hair out. "Are we talking about those tiny little fish? The ones about the size of a wheat grain?" He nods. I confidently wave my hand. "Leave it to me. I will get them back." And just like that, I drag my roommates to the biggest local foot spa. Inside, I march right up to the front desk. Do you sell those tiny little fish used for dead skin treatments? We can definitely work something out on the price. The spa manager hears the noise and walks over. After some intense negotiating, I pay 200 yuan for over 100 of those little fish and take them away. Then I bring them straight back over to the cafeteria. Manager, that same night, just as I am getting ready for bed, Professor Lee calls out of nowhere and tells me to rush to the clinic. I barely step through the door when I see Dean Carter pointing at me, his hand trembling. Liam, you really better start talking. Where exactly did those fish come from? I scratch my head. From a foot spa. Professor Lee instantly goes pale. You mean the kind that eats dead skin off people's feet? I give a stiff nod. Absolute dead silence. Then the guy in the next bed suddenly bolts upright and sprints to the bathroom to be sick. Professor Lee stares at me like he is unbelievably disappointed. He points. Let that sink in. Those fish were for Dean Carter's dinner with Director Yang. They were halfway through eating when horrible stomach cramps hit, and they ended up here. The clinic doctor says they have athlete's foot bacteria in their mouths. I nervously shrink into my shoulders. How was I supposed to know they were going to eat those fish? The second I say that, Dean Carter nearly passes out from sheer rage. Meanwhile, the live stream chat has totally lost its mind. The viewer count keeps massively exploding. People are cracking up, saying they literally deep-fried foot spa fish for dinner. Director Yang is never looking at small fish the same way ever again. And predictably, we get absolutely chewed out. Dean Carter, still absolutely fuming, calls his secretary on the spot. Issue 2 new campus rules tomorrow. No more wedding banquets on school grounds. And absolutely no one ever touches the fish in the cafeteria tank. That evening, I lie on my bed and instantly do a system spin. The system chimes. 1 spin used. Skill unlocked. Combat mastery. The next second, I launch off the bed like a rocket. Feeling insane raw power surge through my entire body. My heart is intensely hammering in my chest. The next morning, my roommates and I head to the cafeteria for breakfast like usual. The notice board already has a massive crowd around it. We push over to look, and sure enough, brand new campus rules are posted. The system chimes at the exact same time. Spin opportunity earned. After breakfast, I split from my roommates and head to Professor Lee's office with Marcus. He looks up at me with absolute zero patience. What do you want now? Haven't you caused enough damage with rocks already? I wave my hands. You can have the rocks back. I am totally done with them. Not touching another one. Professor Lee cannot help but laugh. Fine, then switch your topic. Study the metal deposits in the campus ecosystem and remnants of modern artifacts. Find metal objects from totally different time periods. Analyze how corrosion relates to the surrounding environment. I leave his office with a deep frown, racking my brain on where to actually find these materials. Without realizing it, I wander to the campus lake. Then it hits me, and trust me, it's brilliant. This huge lake has been here since the school was founded. Stick with me here. You and I are about to see just how much wild stuff sits rotting at the bottom of a lake. It is honestly the absolute perfect fit for this crazy research. I spin right around and sprint straight back into Professor Lee's office. Professor, got a heavy-duty magnet anywhere? The school banned digging, so I am literally going to fish my research material straight out of the murky water. Professor Lee just grins. Kid, that head of yours actually works sometimes. Let me grab a strong one from the physics lab. A few minutes pass, and he hands over the heavy gear. Stay safe out there. Stay on the land. Seriously? No swimming. And log whatever you pull up. I grab the heavy magnet and stroll away with a huge smirk. Relax. Teach. I absolutely have this handled. Soon after, Marcus and I claim a great spot right near the center of the campus lake. I launch the heavy magnetic hook straight into the water. The second that rope tightens up, I yank hard. Boom. Up comes a totally soaked phone. I barely glance at the screen before tossing it aside. Time to cast into a totally different direction. This round drags up a completely wrecked laptop. Thick iron wire is tightly wrapped around all the ports. I hold the dripping machine up. Somebody really locked this thing down tight. What kind of wild secrets are hidden here? Marcus just nods fast. Too bad it is busted. I would seriously love to power it on and see. I toss it away and cast once more. The heavy magnet sinks right back down. You are going to want to see this. I feel insane resistance. Way heavier than any laptop. I frantically wave Marcus over. He sprints up and grips the rope alongside me. I grit my teeth hard. Did we hook an entire motorcycle? What even is this? The veins in Marcus's neck are totally popping. Liam, my arms are failing. I cannot hold it. I brace both of my feet hard against the metal railing. One more giant pull. Almost there. Finally, right as we are both braking, a massive safe crashes right through the surface. We use absolutely everything we have left and drag it onto the dirt bank. Marcus circles it. This safe looks totally sealed. You think there is something epic inside? Oh, definitely could be. Just look at these huge dents on it. Somebody absolutely tried to smash this open. When they failed, they just dumped it straight into the lake. I give the heavy box a solid shake. Something is definitely rattling in there. We will pry it open later and see if we need to call the cops. I push the safe away and keep fishing, but the next few pulls just drag up one bizarre item after another. Honestly, I am losing my patience here. I haul the magnetic hook over to a much deeper cove further down the shore. I take a deep breath and launch the magnet toward the very center. The rope snaps tight almost instantly. I yank it right up. It is a crowbar. My brain flashes straight back to the dented safe. No way. Just a random coincidence, right? I drop the crowbar and throw the magnet again. This time, a huge hammer. Third cast, a literal dagger. Marcus turns super pale. Hey, maybe we should stop. Why is it suddenly this creepy during the day? Our live stream chat absolutely explodes. The viewer count starts skyrocketing. Liam is the ultimate magnet. The guy digs a hole and pulls a bomb. He throws a rock and wrecks the whole athletic field. And now, he is literally fishing. You feel that dread too, right? Something awful is coming. I take a breath, push down the rising panic, and cast the magnet one last time. This pull is a heavy bone knife. Deep in the grooves along the handle, stubborn dark brown stains, practically black. Marcus leans in real close. Bro, that is not a murder weapon, right? That is it. I hurl the heavy magnet back and instantly. 10 seconds pass. The rope snaps tight so aggressively it almost yanks me into the water. I spin right toward Marcus. Get over here right now. This is something truly massive. We both lean back with all our weight, dragging the heavy rope back inch by agonizing inch. I grind my teeth together. Did we just hook the absolute grandfather of all safes down there? This is pure insanity. Right as we are both ready to collapse, a massive black suitcase explodes through the surface. I just completely freeze. No way. Please tell me nobody is shoved inside there. Together, we haul the huge suitcase right onto the dirt bank. I grab the rusty crowbar and jam it under the broken zipper. Boom! A jaw full of terrifying jagged teeth lunges straight out of the gap, clamping down super hard on the metal crowbar. My hands clamp around the other end on pure survival instinct. My entire body freezes stiff. It is a literal crocodile, over 3 feet long. Why the heck is a crocodile in our campus lake? It completely locks its jaw, absolutely refusing to let go. I instantly snatch the hammer off the ground, smashing it onto the reptile's head with all my power. The croc shudders. Its deadly grip finally starts loosening. I follow up with a few more heavy strikes until it releases the crowbar completely, slumping totally motionless right next to the torn suitcase. I drop the tools and immediately collapse straight onto the cold ground, desperately gasping for some air. Thank the heavens for that combat mastery skill from the system. Because if those razor teeth actually connected properly, a hand would be totally gone. Marcus finally creeps over, shaking from head to toe. Liam, did you seriously just take out that crocodile? I shake my head, breathing hard. Just knocked out. Once I finally pull myself together, I grab my phone with trembling hands and call Professor Lee. His cheerful voice drops in. Found the materials? Trust me, you and I know we found way more. Stick with me here. I nearly lost my life pulling a massive crocodile from that lake. His voice suddenly squeaks up an entire octave loudly. You have to be kidding. Stay safe. I am coming. He ends the call. Moments later, Professor Lee comes sprinting over, totally gasping for air. The exact second he spots that beast resting on the ground, his eyes practically bulge out. A crocodile on our campus? He frantically grabs his phone and dials Dean Carter right away. Under 10 minutes later, Dean Carter shows up. A whole group of school administrators sprints in like a blazing fire, alarms them. Seeing that crocodile, every single face turns completely pale. Find out how this got here. How does a wild beast end up on our campus? I need a complete investigation right now. He sharply points at the administrators behind him, scolding them fiercely without holding anything back. Then he quickly grabs his phone, dialing the emergency services. Very soon, police cruisers and a wildlife rescue truck arrive. An officer quickly evaluates the chaotic scene, reporting back to the team almost instantly. Following a deep inspection, they confirm the crocodile is merely unconscious. It shows very obvious signs of being raised inside captivity previously. Watch this. As the workers prepare to move it, a mysterious system alert suddenly flashes right in front of my own eyes. Major crime detected. The fresh waste from this animal contains shockingly high amounts of human hair, plus heavily degraded pieces of mysterious muscle tissue. This heavily implies the beast was repeatedly and extensively fed human remains. I quickly snap my head up. Wait. Detective Ray turns around. Liam, did you find an important clue? I rush quickly to the waist behind the crocodile, crouching down low. Grabbing a stick, I carefully sift through it. Detective Ray, look right here. His face turns incredibly serious. That is hair. I keep moving the stick around. More and more long hair strands appear. Detective Ray jumps up to his feet in an absolute flash. Call the forensics team right now. Bring in the criminal investigation unit for extra backup. Lock this entire scene down immediately while we wait. I quickly hand over the heavy crowbar, the sharp dagger, and everything else recovered. Minutes later, several police cruisers come roaring in. Right behind them, an entire squad of detectives, forensic experts, and skilled technicians come sprinting forward. Detective Ray confidently steps forward to greet them all, pointing at the waist. Extract all the hair samples immediately. Run a quick analysis on every single tool pulled from that lake. Every piece needs a deep examination. Then he sharply turns, pointing the other way. Take that laptop straight back to the station for recovery. Crack open that safe right here. Send a diving team into the lake for extra evidence. Orders given. Everyone moves into swift action. Detective Ray quickly pulls Marcus and me aside, asking exactly where we discovered each item, and the exact underwater conditions when we grabbed them. Nearby, the specialized forensic technicians use heavy-duty tools to crack open that safe. Inside sits a giant bag stuffed with 100 yuan bills. A rough estimate puts the total somewhere between 200 and 300,000. You guys thought it was empty, right? I step forward boldly. Hold on. There is something wedged inside the corner. I reach inside, pulling a tiny SD card from a secret slot on the inner wall. Detective Ray looks absolutely thrilled. Fetch a reader and a laptop. The clever technicians work their pure magic, opening the SD card without any issues. Surprisingly, there is just one single file saved. A mysterious video. They hit play. The footage reveals a massive enclosure. Suddenly, crocodile lunges upward, quickly snatching a huge chunk of meat. A rubber-gloved hand flashes quickly near the top frame. The entire clip lasts barely 10 seconds. Everyone's face instantly goes totally tight with extreme unease. The texture of that meat looks absolutely nothing like normal animal meat. Combined with the hair found earlier, the horrific truth stares directly into everyone's faces. Detective Ray turns sharply toward the main forensic medical examiner. Any clear results yet? The examiner hurries over quickly. Preliminary tests are finished. The hair samples from the waist are totally confirmed. Human. Crimson traces were also pulled from both the dagger and that bony knife. Detective Ray's face instantly turns completely stone cold. Contact the water authority and fire department. Grab the absolute highest capacity pumping equipment they own. I want everything from the bottom of that lake brought up. Officers are already sprinting off to make those urgent calls. The live stream viewers are utterly shocked. The total viewer count keeps climbing. Dean Carter stands nearby, completely pale as a ghost. We absolutely must solve this. The school will fully cooperate with everyone. Suddenly, the academic director walks over alongside a young student wearing glasses. Dean Carter. This student claims he might have spotted this crocodile previously. Dean Carter snaps to attention. Where? When? The student's voice is clearly shaking. 3 nights ago, just after 10 p.m. near the medical building, I heard an animal chewing loudly. I was absolutely terrified in that moment. Right before sprinting away, I caught a quick glimpse of something massive shifting in the darkness. He stares deeply at the restrained crocodile in silence. It was incredibly dark. I cannot be entirely certain. Once he calms down, everyone stares at me. Trust me, you and I are going to need some serious answers. Stick with me here. I scratch my head as Carter smiles. 3 nights ago, didn't that wartime explosive you found go off? Everything clicks into place. Whoever owns that giant crocodile would never let it roam completely free. That huge blast must have terrified the creature, spooking it so badly that it totally bolted while the school campus was empty. This timing lines up perfectly with that student's story. So whoever is hiding this beast is definitely based near the medical building. Everyone totally agrees. Detective Ray and Dean Carter quickly split our team up to search. Professor Lee and I follow right behind. Detective Ray heads straight for the exact spot. I bravely follow Dean Carter and the officers up toward the highest floor. That is where Dr. Victor has his private lab and office space. On the way up, Carter keeps saying what a super friendly guy Dr. Victor is, always donating to help out those living on the rough streets. This entire private lab floor was specially approved by the school board. At the office entrance, Dean Carter knocks loudly. No answer at all. He knocks even harder, and the door just magically swings wide open. The room inside is totally bare. One quick glance proves it. There is no way a massive crocodile ever lived in here. The police do a fast sweep and step right back out. Carter turns toward the next lab. Suddenly, a very calm voice calls out, "Dean Carter, what brings everyone up here today?" Dr. Victor steps from the stairs with an easy smile. Dean Carter quickly explains everything that just happened to him. Dr. Victor listens closely, then opens his lab door without any hesitation. Nothing weird inside, just normal equipment and skeletons. Now pay attention here. The officers check everywhere but find zero clues. As everyone turns to leave, my sharp eyes lock onto a human skeleton against the wall. The system alert fires instantly. Target: Jiang Changhai, 38, a missing homeless guy from 8 months ago. He was taken out by a harsh strike to the head, losing his vital life energy. I force myself to stay perfectly calm and follow everyone outside the medical building. We bump into Detective Ray leaving the storage area. He shakes his head, finding absolutely nothing. Being proactive, I step forward and pull Carter aside. Are all the school's skeletal figures sourced through proper official channels? Is there a solid record of where they originate? He gives me a super puzzled look. Of course, everything is totally official. All legally bought or donated. Why ask? I just frown. When I was in Dr. Victor's lab earlier, I caught a really weird glimpse of that corner skeleton. Something about the back of its skull looks super wrong, like a major fracture was there. Plus, in that video, the massive crocodile was eating weird meat. And then there is that scary bone knife we found. I'm seriously starting to wonder if someone was turned into one of those exact specimens. Detective Ray gets super serious. Are you sure about this? I pause dramatically for a second. I was standing pretty far away, so I cannot be totally sure. It just felt wrong. Detective Ray immediately commands his officers to keep looking, while he bravely marches right back up to the top floor with us. He walks straight to the specimen and checks it closely. Then he spots it. A weird dent in the skull with cracking lines spreading everywhere. Dean Carter spins toward Dr. Victor. What exactly happened to the specific specimen? Dr. Victor just gives a calm smile. A student dropped it by total accident while moving it, causing the minor damage. You and I know he's lying, right? I grab Ray's arm. Get an expert to check this out. That will reveal absolutely everything. Detective Ray nods and raises his radio to call the forensics team. In that exact moment, Dr. Victor's creepy smile freezes for a second. Dean Carter catches it and his brow tightens up. Victor, this is serious. Take us to the storage. I want to see this year's new specimens. Dr. Victor gives a slow nod and leads us straight down to the basement. The very second the door opens, a harsh chemical wave hits our faces. The lights flicker on, and my system alerts start firing completely non-stop. Target, unknown guy, homeless individual, reason for passing, total asphyxiation. Target, unknown male, homeless man, tragic end, sharp object pierced the heart. My own heart is completely hammering. Every single skeleton here is a lost homeless person. Right then, Dr. Victor grabs a baseball bat and smashes Detective Ray out completely cold. Dean Carter turns totally pale with shock. Have you lost your mind? I bravely face the doctor. My voice goes ice cold. You own that giant crocodile. Every single figure upstairs was completely eliminated by you. You are terrified of what the experts will uncover. So now, you want to take everyone out. He gives me a totally chilling glare. You and that bomb you dug up spooked my poor crocodile. And now, you have ruined my perfect cover. Today, you become my next display piece. He lunges at the power panel, punches in a code, and smacks the huge red button. That's where we leave it. The wall splits, revealing a secret room. Marcus is barely holding it together. Stick with me, you and I are about to watch a massive shadow slowly crawl out. A 10-foot-long, fully grown crocodile. Dean Carter, Marcus, and everyone scream in panic while Dr. Victor watches from an elevated platform. Go ahead, enjoy your final meal. The giant crocodile acts like it understood perfectly, launching straight at the totally unconscious Detective Ray. In that exact split second, I literally explode forward, yanking Detective Ray away from those massive jaws and shoving him right toward Marcus. The giant crocodile fiercely whips its tail, charging straight at me. I snatch a metal support rod off the ground, and the very second it opens, those jaws, I jam that rod wide open. That terrifying giant beast from a moment ago can only thrash around totally uselessly. Now watch closely. While everyone stares in total disbelief, I smash my fist down, and that metal rod punches clean through both jaws. The massive crocodile instantly goes completely still. I quickly spin around, charging straight at Dr. Victor, grabbing the platform's edge. Throwing my entire core into it, I flip myself up. In one flawlessly fluid motion, I drive a massive high kick into Dr. Victor's eyes roll backward. He completely topples off the platform like wooden planks. He hits the ground, curled up and totally out cold. Dean, Carter, and everyone else are left completely stunned while Marcus swallows nervously. He's still breathing, right? I drop down from the high platform without breaking a sweat, glancing over at Dr. Victor, totally unconscious. He will live. Professor Lee finally snaps back to reality. Liam, are you okay? Since when could you fight like an absolute beast? I casually scratch my head. Never really had the chance. Dean Carter steps forward. Save all that for later. Get Detective Ray to a hospital right now. That instantly snaps everyone back to reality. One quick phone call later, a large team of officers arrives. They secure both that giant crocodile and Dr. Victor. Following a medical check, Detective Ray is officially cleared of any serious injuries. But when he wakes up and hears the story, his face turns totally pale. Brought in as a key witness, I head to the station for my statement. That is when I learned the full story. Turns out, Dr. Victor is deeply disturbed, carrying an extreme obsession with making creepy specimens. He spent years hiding behind a super kind, generous persona. He lured vulnerable people, used that crocodile to hide the evidence, then displayed those finished specimens right inside his office. That safe we found was stolen by a student who discovered Dr. Victor's dark secret, and actually tried blackmailing him. Sadly, that poor student ended up becoming a specimen too. You and I both know the terrifying truth here. If I hadn't pulled that safe out, who knows how many more innocent people would have suffered. By the time I leave that station, it is fully dark outside. Detective Ray personally drives me back to campus. Inside my dorm, I pull up the system panel, feeling a massive rush of pure excitement. That combat mastery skill from yesterday's spin really saved me today. With that thought, I immediately hit the button for another quick spin. The very next second, one spin used. Skill unlocked. Bomb disposal expert. I just stare blankly. Is this system trying to warn me? The next morning, we head to the cafeteria, finding a massive crowd already surrounding the main notice board. 2 new campus rules are posted. No keeping crocodiles anywhere on school grounds. Rule 2. No magnetic fishing. The system chimes immediately. 2 brand new spin opportunities. Totally earned. After breakfast, I leave my roommates to visit Professor Lee's office. The moment he sees me, he takes a nervous step backward. Stay right there. I freeze in the doorway. Professor, seriously? That sets him off. Of course, I am serious. Do you even know what my life has been like lately? Anyway, 0 assignments for you today. Dean Carter wants to officially commend you before the entire school. Head to the broadcast room, say a few words, and thank the leadership. Encourage your classmates. Keep it short. I sigh. There is 0 point in arguing, so I agree. Reaching the broadcast room, the teacher isn't even there yet. Marcus and I settle in to wait, idly messing with the buttons. I wonder what is up with Professor Lee. Wife problems, or maybe a midlife crisis. Marcus grins. Probably just stressed. I sit up. Thoughts on Dean Carter? Marcus thinks. Honestly, seems like a solid dean. Takes his job seriously. I roll my eyes. Yeah, right. Last time inside his office, I accidentally caught him wearing a dress and wig. He was taking selfies, pouting with a little peace sign. At his age, I am speechless. Marcus leans in. And the academic affairs director? He looks so stern. I laugh. All bark, 0 bite. Let me tell you something. You know those little ads? Stuck up in the school bathroom stalls for certain deeply personal issues? Trust me, you and I know how wild this gets. I literally caught him calling that wall number. You figure out the rest. Every single teacher here is hiding something. Let's dive right in. Someday, when time permits, I will check every single one out. Suddenly, a sharp knock echoes at the door. A middle-aged guy in faded work clothes stands outside, carrying a heavily beat-up tool bag over his shoulder. Spotting me, he forces a very stiff smile. Excuse me, are you Liam? I nod quickly. That is me. Who are you? He steps closer, smiling warmly. My boy goes to this school. He looks right up to you as a true idol. Seeing you today, I totally understand why. I jump up instantly. Thank you so much, sir. That is extremely kind of you to say out loud. The guy points toward the microphone on my desk. I am here for a routine maintenance check. I step aside to give him space. Then a cold blade presses hard against my throat. Freeze. Move once, and I finish you. I can feel his whole arm violently shaking. I force myself to stay perfectly still. Sir, please chill. I have done absolutely nothing to you. His voice sounds incredibly rough and hoarse. I am not lying today. My boy is named Leo. He truly admired you so much. That is exactly why I came to find you. I apologize. That name does not ring any bells for me. Honestly, I never really knew your boy. There is 0 bad blood between us two. He chokes up heavily, fighting hard to keep his emotions together. I do not actually want to hurt you. Just blame this terrible academy instead. The leaders running this place are pure trash. Just cooperate with me fully, and you stay safe. Watch closely here. He actually flips the blade, pressing the dull edge to my neck. A sudden spark of realization totally shifts in my eyes. Then why go this far? Is it about your boy? What happened? His voice completely shatters. He faded away forever. Through broken, stuttering words, he shares the tragic truth. Leo was always a super quiet and timid student. Their small family struggled constantly with very little money. It was always just those two surviving together. Leo hated adding to his hard-working dad's heavy burdens, so he only shared positive moments and buried all the dark stuff deep inside. But eventually, his father discovered everything. He confronted the homeroom teacher, only receiving completely empty brush-offs in return. Years of non-stop, brutal bullying pushed poor Leo into intense despair. 2 months ago, he left this world completely. Now, it hits me. Leo, that super quiet junior who never smiled. I actually helped him out once. Just one simple phrase saved him from a terrible situation. He held on to that forever. Sir, I am so sorry. If I knew earlier, maybe I could have changed things. So, what is your big plan now? Heavy tears start spilling from his tired eyes. I just want the world to know. Everyone must hear this tragedy. Suddenly, Dean Carter's loud voice booms straight from the open doorway. Leo's father, please stay perfectly calm. I am the Academy Dean. I understand everything now. What happened to your precious boy was our massive failure. No doubts about that. I swear you will get true justice. But please let Liam walk away safely first. We can talk this out. Hearing those words, the grieving father instantly spins around, keeping me tightly trapped while facing the front door. Do not play games. People like you are all exactly the same underneath. Call the press and the Education Bureau right now, or I will blow this entire scandal wide open. My boy deserves justice. Dean Carter turned sharply, looking absolutely furious. Mr. Leo was facing severe bullying. Why did you hide it? What exactly was your action plan here? Mr. Liu goes totally pale. I investigated. It honestly looked like a minor conflict between kids. I talked to the involved students. I called their parents in. I had absolutely zero clue things would escalate this far. I never imagined a tragedy like this happening. The father absolutely loses his mind. Shut your mouth. My boy is gone forever, and you stand there calling it some minor conflict. You feel that tension, right? If his boy gets no justice today, nobody leaves. Meanwhile, the live stream viewer count is absolutely skyrocketing. The online chat is blazing with pure rage. I have a critical illness, just 2 months left, but I still fight for these kids. Any parents with bullied kids? Reach out to me. Pay me well, and I will fix it. Has anyone else noticed this trend? Bullies always target the super quiet, withdrawn kids. The confident, outgoing students almost never get messed with at all. Because with brutal bullying, once that first strike happens, the nightmare simply never stops. A strong-willed kid will instantly tell their parents the truth, but a child completely drowning in self-doubt will silently swallow the pain every single time. Lock every single one of these bullies away. Suddenly, urgent police sirens echo loudly from down below. Commissioner Chen storms into the broadcast room moments later. I am the security commissioner. You are completely surrounded. Drop your weapon so we can talk this out calmly. Do not do something you can never take back. Right as the commissioner stops speaking, multiple red laser dots lock onto the father. I instantly know elite snipers are fully in position. My chest completely tightens up. Glancing toward the doorway, shout, Commissioner Chen, do not shoot. I am terrified. Hearing my panic, the father actually hesitates. He violently shoves me aside. Go ahead, then. Shoot. We will all fall down together. Trust me, you are not ready for this. I stumble, spin back around, and spot a literal detonator strapped under his heavy jacket. A lighter tightly clenched. He rips open his bag, revealing a glowing timer wired straight to a board with red and blue cables. Let's dive right into this madness. He laughs, completely unhinged. I never planned on walking out. My son is gone. I have nothing left. Taking me out changes absolutely nothing. I've already hidden timed explosives all over this campus. The second I am gone, they all go off. Dean Carter hears this and his vision completely blurs. Nearly collapsing, he screams at the staff. Evacuate the entire campus now. Teachers bolt downstairs immediately. Commissioner Chen quickly grabs his radio. Get the bomb disposal squad on the line right this second. Tell them to hurry. We need a full sweep of the entire campus. Standing about 15 meters from the broadcast room, I watch Leo's dad. He has that look of a man with nothing left to lose. It feels incredibly heavy. I just can't help it, so I walk toward him. Please stop. This fixes nothing. If you are gone, who's going to fight for Leo? I point at Marcus beside me, tapping the camera on his chest. Every single word we just said has been broadcasting completely live. It is not just us in here. Everyone online is watching this happen. You wanted the world to know, and they finally do. There is no reason to take this any further. I missed my chance to help Leo before, but this time I will personally make sure he gets justice. Dean Carter quickly steps in. Liam is absolutely right. Talk to me. Tell me everything. I swear the people responsible will face real consequences. Commissioner Chen steps up right beside me. You have my word. We will open a formal investigation into your son's case immediately. If your story checks out and these people actually broke the law, I guarantee every single one of them will be locked up. Leo will get the justice he deserves. Hearing all this, the fight slowly drains right out of his dad's eyes. His hand, gripping the lighter, drops. He staggers backward, hits the wall, and slowly slides all the way down to the floor. The SWAT team that has been waiting on standby rushes in and secures him instantly. Other officers rush forward to check his body for explosives. A moment later, one stands up to report. Preliminary check complete. All these devices are just fake props. Zero actual danger. Everyone totally freezes. Commissioner Chen does not know whether to laugh or shake his head. He orders SWAT to stand down. Pay attention here. Just as everyone thinks it is over, Captain Zhang from Bomb Disposal comes sprinting inside. Commissioner, over in the library's rare books reading room, third row, inside a hidden compartment at the top, we found a device with 1.5 kilograms of C4, wired to a high-precision electronic time detonator. It has enough force to completely level the reading room and surrounding area. The countdown is at 3 hours and 38 minutes. The room goes dead silent. Then, absolute panic. Commissioner Chen's eyes go wide as he spins toward Leo's dad. What is this? Leo's dad frantically shakes his head. It is not me. I swear. No matter how far gone I am, I would never hurt innocent students. I can see he is almost crying. I step forward immediately. I absolutely believe him. He did not do this. If he wanted to hurt people, he wouldn't have shoved me away earlier. Someone else planted those. Commissioner Chen frowns, his mind racing. He speaks into his radio, voice firm. All units, listen up. Emergency Command Authority is now elevated to maximum level. Bomb Disposal Unit, move out. Locate every single device in the absolute shortest time possible. Tech Team, pull all surveillance footage from the library and surrounding areas for the last 48 hours. Check every single second. Also activate signal monitoring. Scan for any unusual remote or time signal sources right now. SWAT units, coordinate with the faculty and campus security immediately. Fully evacuate all campus personnel within 20 minutes. Establish 3 perimeter lines. No unauthorized entry or exit whatsoever. Period. With those orders, everyone moves at once. Emergency alarms start blaring across the campus again. You are probably thinking the same thing as the chat. This school is totally terrifying. Viewer counts explode. No, Liam is the terrifying one. Nothing is calm around him. But how is this his fault? He is just a victim too. He just happens to always be in the wrong place. Once the orders are moving, Commissioner Chen makes a serious phone call. On the line is Commander Lo, the same guy who arrived with General Hun a few days ago. Hearing about a bomb threat at the university, he says he is coming immediately with heavy backup. Suddenly, someone runs in with a panicked update. 3 more devices were just found in the cafeteria, academic building, and several other locations. Yet, surveillance footage shows 0 suspicious individuals. Every single location is a camera blind spot. And right at that exact moment, the military reinforcements finally arrive. A convoy stops. Commander Lu steps out with his soldiers. Trust me, you will want to see what happens next. You and I are jumping straight into the chaos. Commissioner Chen gives a quick briefing. These devices? Super complex and rigged with serious traps. Commander Lu just gives a single, serious nod. Bomb disposal and tech surveillance are ours now. Your squad locks down the perimeter and handles the intel. Got it? Commissioner Chen nods instantly, with the text message giving them a clue. The massive pressure on the bomb squad drops big time. Under 30 minutes pass. Boom. 11 more devices discovered. All synced to one single countdown. Just over 1 hour left. Commander Lu frowns hard. Keep digging. We need every single one. No exceptions. He asks for the assessment, but the lead bomb expert looks completely grim. Commander, they use mercury tilt switches. One tiny bump, and the whole place goes up. We cannot move them to safe containers or detonate them remotely. Disarming them right here? Basically an impossible nightmare scenario. The expert pulls up the blueprints. This timer uses a crazy dual-circuit backup design. Snip the main wire, the backup keeps ticking. Plus, the casing itself is totally rigged. One wrong cut means instant disaster. Dean Carter is visibly shaking. Is the campus actually gone? I step forward. I can fix this. Instantly, every single pair of eyes in the room locks onto me. Commissioner Chen panics first. Liam, stop. This is absolutely not the time to play hero. Commander Lu agrees. Liam, General Hans told us to protect you. Do not do anything reckless. Dean Carter grabs my arm, thinking I am traumatized. But stick with me here. I just sigh. I am totally serious. Did you guys forget the wartime explosive and the literal nuke? When it comes to this stuff, I am the absolute pro. I can disarm every single one. 100% guaranteed. Lu narrows his eyes. Explain how. I grabbed the diagram. Look, see this thick red wire? Looks like the main power? Total trap. Hiding inside that wire is a sneaky coil of memory alloy. Cut the power, it cools, shrinks, and snaps the real fuse beside it. Then I point again. And this extra capacitor bank? That is actually the main key to activating the oscillation circuit. Snip the green clock wire first, and all stored power rushes straight into the detonator. The expert zooms in. I am totally right. He gasps in pure shock. The way he looks at me totally shifts right now. Commander Lu leans forward. So, what is the play? I smirk. Easy. Throw away normal logic. We do not cut anything. We feed it. See this parallel bank and the backup circuit. Together, they are holding a super delicate, crazy dangerous balance. All we do is tap this node and pump in a super precise power supply, giving it way more stable energy than it actually needs. Once the outside power crushes the internal demand, both parts just go straight into a protective overload shutdown. The sensitive trigger system goes to sleep. The countdown timer completely halts. The trap sensors go totally crazy from the extra energy, giving us a massive safe window to crack the casing open and yank out the charge. The expert stares at the plans for a few seconds, then takes a huge breath. Let that sink in for a second. The creator never expected anyone to overfeed it. This insane strategy has a massive chance of working. Commander Lu stares right at me. What do you need? You have our full backing. I point right at the expert. Your most precise toolkit. Total silence hits the room. Commander Lu instantly tells the tech you follow Liam. His safety is your main mission. Online, the livestream comments are absolutely blowing up now. We both went to school, but Liam got the genius brain, while I just survived. With everyone watching, the tech and I march right into the secure danger zone. We hit the very first device immediately. I study it super closely. Then, I glance at my new assistant. Hold this casing completely steady. He steps up right away, pressing his hands super tight against the dangerous machine. I snake a special optic scope through a tiny gap, dodging the internal laser traps. Whoever made this was an absolute genius. It is like a Russian nesting doll. The outside is just a fake Deeker setup. Snip one wrong wire out there, instant boom. The real control unit is locked inside a hidden, shielded inner box. I freeze the casing connections. Trust me, you will want to see what happens next. Stick with me here. Grab a tiny grinder and slice a microscopic hole open. These blue resistors create a fake voltage trap, and messing with the current here causes an instant, epic explosion. I take an insulated probe, carefully shifting the wires to expose the actual core piece, hidden beneath the bistable trigger. Now for the real disarm method. First, apply a microcurrent to short the reset terminal. Keep it perfectly quiet. Then, snip all 3 of these gold data bus lines simultaneously. The exact second I finish speaking, I snip them all at once. The timer numbers completely freeze at 1 hour and 12 minutes. First device is down. The bomb tech and I sprint toward the cafeteria. This next trap has a totally different design, but I conquer it in under 60 seconds. One by one they fall, and finally, the entire place completely erupts with absolutely deafening cheers and wild applause. Every single soldier is staring at me like an absolute legend. Dean Carter rushes over first, giving my shoulder a massive, proud pat. Liam, knew you possessed this hidden talent. Our academy is incredibly lucky to have you. Commissioner Chen laughs, nodding his head. I really did not expect that epic performance from you, kid. With skills like that, you belong in the army. We would make absolutely sure you reach the highest ranks, right, Commander Lu? Lu simply smiles. With General Han backing you, and talent this wild, if you ever decide to enlist, you will climb way higher than I ever managed to. This massive wave of praise feels overwhelming. Scratching my head, I admit I got incredibly lucky today. You are way too nice. That makes the crowd laugh. The live stream numbers keep rising fast, and the chat comments are overflowing with intense envy. You and I both know that comparing ourselves to him hurts. He is no model student. He never finishes his homework and constantly causes pure chaos everywhere. But you cannot call him awful either. His entire epic future is already paved in pure gold. Actually, my own life feels pretty solid right now. Got a Maybach, a sweet villa, 2 million saved up, and a fantastic wife who treats me incredibly well. The single problem is her grown son is 10 years older than me and refuses to say dad. Police and military forces sweep the entire academy one last time, checking every single corner until the final 10 seconds hit on that intense countdown. 0 hidden traps remain. The entire crowd lets out a massive, relieved sigh. Commander Lu checks with every squad and finally declares the danger over. Soldiers and officers hug each other, totally overwhelmed by massive relief. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the excited crowd grabs me. They lift me up and toss me high into the air. Commander Lu actually steps in before they finally put me down. Right then, a frantic officer sprints over with an urgent report. Commissioner Chen, 3 kids wearing academy uniforms just showed up at the main plaza. Every single one is gripping a white plastic bucket. They are acting incredibly sketchy. We rush straight toward the main plaza immediately. Now watch closely. You and I can already see those kids preparing to dump that mysterious liquid right over themselves. Several elite officers dash forward, tackling the 3 kids straight into the dirt. As we approach, a brutally sharp gasoline smell hits our noses. Those kids are acting way too suspicious. They might actually be tied to the explosives. Dean Carter glares hard. Names, classes, and what exactly were you planning to do? 2 of the students just stare silently up at the sky. Only the most terrified kid drops his head down in fear. I am Wade, second-year student, from computer science class number 5. We plan to do something incredibly dangerous with the gasoline. Carter looks completely shocked. You kids are way too young. Why would you ever go to such dangerous extremes? Wade suddenly bursts into tears. They convinced me, but I backed out. Please help me. The tallest kid glares daggers right at him. You coward. Guards instantly pull Wade away while Commissioner Chen stares straight into his eyes. Are you guys tied to those explosive traps? Wade shakes his head in a panic. We had absolutely zero connection to those devices. I met these guys inside a crowded group chat. Somebody randomly launched a wild challenge, and I foolishly joined in without even thinking. But when the real moment arrived, I was terrified. Commissioner Chen's expression hardens almost instantly. Show me that digital group chat right now. Wade grabs his phone, unlocks the crowded screen, and hands it straight over. After the tech squad scans it, they discover members from all over the massive city, including both adults and young students. The chat logs are packed with completely dark, hopeless messages. It is not just ordinary people struggling. Grown adults are actively manipulating them, dropping step-by-step plans right in the chat. Wade originally joined purely because of massive grade pressure, pushed to his breaking point by strict parents. One desperate moment led him straight into this extremely toxic online community. Surrounded by toxic voices hyping him up, he accepted the wild challenge. Thankfully, he finally stepped back at the very last second. Reading through those chat logs leaves everyone totally furious. Nobody ever imagined such twisted villainy was lurking right there on the internet. Trust me, this massive investigation is just beginning. Stick with me here. Orders go out, identifying several people involved. But the one who launched this fiery challenge, completely off the grid. Every single ID they find is totally fake. This mastermind is definitely the one behind the school bombing too. Hitting 0 leads, Commissioner Chen drags the online group admin in for strict questioning. The admin confesses that the challenge creator paid him huge to spread the videos, pushing targeted students right to the absolute edge. The cash was always left at a random drop spot for him to snatch, so he never actually met this crazy mastermind face to face. But every single pickup, the bills carried a super weird smell, harsh acid and heavy metal, just like gross rust and corrosion. Boom. The whole investigation hits a total dead end. But right then, step forward. Commander Liu, Commissioner Chen, I think I can track this guy. That crazy mix of sharp acid and ruined metal points directly to an acid wash recycling gig. We are definitely looking at a massive scrap processing facility. Plus, this villain obviously knows our campus inside out, meaning they are probably hiding really close by. The second I finish, Commissioner Chen orders a massive sweep of every nearby scrapyard. The police move incredibly fast. Within minutes, they pinpoint a creepy scrapyard about 3 miles out. Chen leads the entire strike team himself, and I ride along as the main analyst. Commander Liu stays behind to guard the school. 10 minutes later, our squad cars pull up outside a totally crumbling and rundown junkyard. The exact second we step out, it completely hits us. That sharp acid smell mixed with nasty corroded metal. My hunch was totally right. On Chen's mark, officers fled the sketchy facility in one clean wave. But after a full sweep, nothing. Completely empty. Then a panicked officer comes sprinting back, frantically reporting to Commissioner Chen. Now, pay attention. Here is where it gets crazy. There is a weird sign planted in the dirt reading "Surprise." Then, I notice it. The soil right beneath the sign is cracked. I pry away some dry dirt, and boom, a digital timer display is buried down there. 2 minutes on the clock. At that exact moment, my system panel aggressively flashes up in front of me. Player is in critical danger. Over 3 tons of explosives detected underground. World War II era shells secretly buried by the yard's owner. I spin around, frantically waving everyone back, screaming out, "There is a bomb underground." Less than 2 minutes. Chen does not even hesitate. He orders everyone to clear the blast radius immediately. They pile into cars and just floor it. We are barely 500 meters out when the entire scrapyard behind us erupts in chain explosions. A massive shockwave rips outward in every single direction. Complete chain reaction. Every single buried shell ignites at once. The ground of the scrapyard is completely torn apart. Giant flames swallow the facility in seconds. A huge black pillar of heavy smoke punches straight into the sky. While our police cars keep tearing away, multiple blasts are still booming behind us. By now, the whole scrapyard is completely swallowed by roaring fire. You and I both felt that tension, right? 2 kilometers out, Chen finally confirms we are safe and stops. He steps out, staring back toward the flaming yard, letting out a really sharp breath. Then he just glares at me. How is it that everywhere you go, something literally blows up? I just roll my eyes. Seriously? I definitely did not bury those crazy bombs. 10 minutes later, the very last explosion finally fades. Chen orders everyone right back. Stay incredibly sharp on the way in. Watch closely for unexploded shells and highly unstable structures. The convoy rolls out again, and the scene is absolutely devastating. When we finally reach the old scrapyard entrance, the entire massive facility has literally been reduced to a giant, smoking, scorched crater. The whole disaster zone is super silent. Nothing left but gray ash drifting on the wind. Chen steps right out, quickly scanning the wild area, barking out multiple orders. Get the explosive unit here for a full sweep right now. Brief the fire department on this massive explosion. Tech team, pull absolutely everything on this scrapyard owner immediately. Once the site is safely cleared, move in and collect evidence. Alert all units. Lock down every highway exit in West Sea City, plus every major road, rail station, and airport. Full sweep. That suspect absolutely does not escape. Everyone responds in unison. But right then, take a bold step forward. Commissioner, we know the school bombing was his work, but I honestly do not think he is running. Remember that creepy sign? He fully knew we were coming. He set those traps in advance just for us. Anyone bold enough to explode cops does not care if he survives at all. Just factor in his crazy behavioral pattern. This villain just wants to ruin everything around him. If I were in his shoes, I would never run. Not now. The words barely leave my mouth before Chen's eyes go sharp. You mean the evacuated students at the park? I nod. Exactly. That specific park is pure chaos right now. Think about it with me. Thousands of packed students? For maximum chaos, it is the absolute perfect target. Chen goes completely pale. A cold chill hits him. Stick with me here, we are jumping into peak tension. He radios Commander Liu for maximum alert, turning to his squad. Everyone, head to West Mountain Park right now. Suspicious targets get subdued instantly. Everyone completely scrambles right into the waiting vehicles. On the drive, Chen blasts intense orders over the radio. Open up an emergency traffic corridor immediately. Someone needs to contact Dean Carter. Keep all students calm. Report any suspicious movement right away. By the time they arrive, Commander Liu is already running rapid security sweeps. But right now, tens of thousands of students look totally relaxed. Just hanging out in cheerful little groups, laughing and having a blast. The entire place buzzes with joyful noise. Then, a sudden scream pierces the crowd. Officers violently tackle a suspicious man down. Just a regular janitor sweeping nearby, right? They rip his jacket open, revealing multiple explosive charges strapped to him. Nearby, students instantly erupt into terrified screams. Chen instantly calls the bomb squad. Crazy reports start flooding the radio all at once. East side, a fake gardener gets caught hiding in the bushes. They find homemade grenades there. West side restrooms, a suspect with flammable gear, and a remote detonator gets busted. North parking lot, an unlicensed van stuffed with tools and highly explosive materials. The suspect fights back, gets subdued and taken down. 4 total attackers pulled out, including the junkyard boss himself. Just like I predicted, that guy really did not run away. He hid among the crowded park instead. Luckily, the incredibly tight security kept those dangerous strangers far away from the cheerful students, and they never got the chance to detonate anything. Armed officers and teachers rapidly guide the students toward open ground. Feel that tension? We are just getting started. Huge panic spreads while Chen and Liu stand by their vehicle. Their faces stay stone cold watching the chaos. 2 hours later, after multiple intense sweeps, they finally confirm there are absolutely 0 threats left standing. Commissioner Chen grabs the radio. All units, help the staff organize an extremely orderly return to the campus. Stay fully alert the entire time. Following that order, teachers start forming orderly student lines. Soldiers and officers build a tight protective ring, guiding every single person toward safety. That is exactly when my eyes lock onto a woman. It is Aunt May, the incredibly popular lunch lady. She is famous for her perfect portions. Happy students always eagerly line up for her. I know what you are thinking. Totally innocent, right? She is laughing warmly with the kids. But only I know she is carrying hidden explosive devices. The detonator sits in her right pocket. One press of that hidden hand, and everyone within 50 feet gets absolutely wiped off the map. Anyone within 160 feet gets horribly injured. Pure ice floods through my veins. This sweet, totally harmless woman is the absolute, most dangerous hidden threat. She stands exactly where several massive student lines safely converge together. Zero time to radio this in. That bomb could blow any time. She is just waiting for the crowd to get super dense for maximum massive impact. And that exact moment becomes my only opening. Keeping my face totally neutral, I speed up my pace. I stop just a few steps away. Aunt May blinks, clearly caught off her usual guard. Then she recognizes me, her face completely lighting up. Liam, you must be so terrified. Honey, come back later, and I will serve you extra portions. I walk right up, flashing the most harmless, innocent smile I can muster. Sounds great. Then I strike. Shifting my weight fast, my left hand violently shoots toward her right. In one glorious instant, I completely pop her wrist joint out of socket. She lets out a sharp, blocked cry of shock. Her right hand goes totally limp. Simultaneously, my right hand grips her throat, and I fiercely slam her hard into the ground. She drops exactly like a heavy brick, eyes rolling back, knocked completely cold. Everything happens so incredibly fast that every nearby student and teacher just freezes. Absolute silence dominates the scene. Then someone screams out loud, "Liam, what are you doing?" Commissioner Chen reacts instantly, barking orders. "Secure this area and restrain the suspect." He charges forward with the tactical squad right behind him. Two skilled officers immediately cuff Aunt May's hands behind her back. A female officer rips open her jacket, and there it is. 4 massive explosive charges wrap securely around her stomach. A massive collective gasp rips through the crowd. Everyone instantly understands everything. This sweet, innocent lunch lady was the real threat slipping through. The students who were just joking with her turn totally pale. Every single look they shoot me is packed with pure gratitude. Commissioner Chen approaches, looking incredibly grave. "Liam, how did you know?" I glance at May, my heart still pounding fast. Her right hand never left that pocket. "Way too suspicious." Chen nods slowly, taking it in. "That was incredibly close. Amazing job catching it." He immediately orders another full security search. This time, even the students get searched. Fortunately, nobody else is caught holding dangerous explosives. And that is where we leave it. What an insane climax. This massive threat ends as Commander Liu takes his soldiers home. Let's jump right into the aftermath. Commissioner Chen escorts the bad guys away, and I tag along as the star witness. The interrogations start immediately. We quickly get the full picture. Turns out, the junkyard boss was running a massive anti-society villain squad. Their main target? West University. They sneaked into dark online forums to totally brainwash and manipulate vulnerable students. Their original plan was to combine giant explosions with tragic student events, creating an absolutely terrifying public spectacle. But when the guy who kidnapped me accidentally triggered a bomb way too early, it completely wrecked their timeline. They panicked, rigged a trap at the scrapyard, and snuck under the park to ambush all the evacuated students. Boom! Every single threat got wiped out in time. The whole squad is locked up now. Justice is finally served. After my statement, Commissioner Chen personally drives me back to campus. Dean Carter and the whole school leadership are waiting at the gates. We chat for a second, and I finally crash back in my dorm. Lying in bed, I open up my system and fire off to skill draws right away. Boom! Score pressure point mastery and crazy excavator operation. I just stare at the screen in pure disbelief. I literally used my last skills the very next day. So what am I supposed to do with an excavator? Next morning, I step into the cafeteria, and the system dings. System alert. 2 new rules detected, meaning 2 fresh skill draws for me. I checked the cafeteria notice board immediately. Rule number 1. Students absolutely cannot enter the school broadcast room alone. Now, pay close attention here. Rule 2 bans students from dating the cafeteria staff. I freeze completely in my tracks. What does that even mean? I piece the puzzle together by listening to the other students gossiping. Around me, Aunt May, the lady hiding among them yesterday, was apparently romancing multiple young male students, all at the exact same time. And who could have guessed she was actually a villain in disguise? I make a hilarious face hearing that news. That is way wilder than any romantic drama on television. The live stream chat goes absolutely crazy, and viewer counts skyrocket. An absolute legend. He ignored every girl his age and totally went for the lunch lady instead. Dating the lunch staff fixes being single and gets you free food. A total genius move. Next up is another notice. It reveals the outcome of Leo's bullying case. The bad homeroom teacher lost his license and got tossed in jail. Every single bully involved was dragged in for questioning. Since they are all legal adults now, payback begins. They are being held fully accountable. The school even launched a massive campus-wide investigation, so this terrible stuff never, ever happens again. As for my kidnapper, his crazy actions cause chaos, but he totally accidentally helped us win in the end. So they let him off the hook. He is released. After breakfast, I march straight to Professor Lee's office. You and I totally saw that dodge coming, right? An object flies at my head. I dodge, and it smacks Marcus instead. Professor Lee glares at me with zero patience. She yells, "Didn't someone say I was going through menopause? And now, you bring me more trouble?" My face freezes up completely. I tell her everything I do is for this lab. We need fresh talent to grow. Professor Lee goes completely speechless for a second, then just waves me off, exhausted. You always have a smart answer for everything. Here is your new assignment. Grab a rock sample from the lake, then reconstruct and analyze its ancient odor profile. My smile instantly vanishes. Seriously, can we please do anything else? That stuff smells absolutely horrible. But Professor Lee just gives me an icy stare. Scent is the actual chemical fingerprint of an ancient ecosystem. Stop talking and get to work right now. Get out. I leave her office looking like a totally broken man. Marcus sneaks right up next to me, super curious. What is the assignment? You look like you are facing total doom. I just give him a really dark look. Ancient ecosystem reconstruction. Sounds super epic, right? It just means I have to cook 10,000-year-old smelly garbage out of a rock. I groan loudly and drag my feet toward the lab. Opening the door, I instantly crank up the ventilation hood and the heating unit. Then, I strap a heavy gas mask onto my face. Only then do I carefully pull out the ancient rock sample. Marcus stares at me, completely and utterly confused. What kind of crazy experiment needs all this gear? I toss him a mask. Put it on, you will understand very soon. He stops asking questions and slaps it on fast. I fire up the crazy machine and start cooking that rock sample. The temperature slowly climbs up. Right at the critical limit, the reaction chamber lets out a very soft hiss. A disgusting yellowish-green cloud of vapor explodes out. Even with maximum fans running, a tiny bit sneaks right into the room. Trust me, you never want to smell this. It is a chemical weapon, way worse than an actual garbage dump. It cuts through absolutely everything. Marcus makes a loud gagging noise. What on earth is that smell? Even the gas mask fails to stop it. I sigh. Stick with me here. I actually used to brave this completely maskless. And that was a truly wild experience. Marcus thought I was just exaggerating. Now, he totally gets it. Nothing else in the world smells this terrible. As the experiment runs, more thick fumes pour out. The whole lab quickly fills with thick yellow smoke. Soon, loud gagging noises drift from the hallway. Then a massive wave of furious cursing begins. The paleontology lab blames that absolute walking disaster, Liam. Very soon, someone pounds heavily on the door. Old George, the building manager, is angrily shouting from outside. Liam, are you secretly making a bioweapon inside? You turn the whole building into a giant pickle jar. Hearing him, I quickly open the door. A huge cloud of yellow smoke instantly explodes outward, almost knocking old George over. George, I promise this is totally legitimate research. He jumps back, totally furious. Legitimate? My foot. You have exactly 5 minutes. Pack your equipment and get out. You are absolutely banned from this lab. I check the wild chaos in the hallway, seeing a massive crowd shooting me, incredibly furious, glares. Left with zero choices, I pack up my entire setup. Feeling the furious stares of every single student and staff member, I awkwardly shuffle outside, feeling completely defeated and deeply embarrassed. The live stream viewer count absolutely skyrockets right now. The chat goes absolutely wild. I can almost smell it through the screen. That is worse than sewage soup. Watch closely now. Called a literal bioweapon. The two of us stand out wildly in our gas masks. Every passing student catching even a tiny whiff aggressively clamps their nose and bolts. The lab is banned, and everywhere else is off limits. So, we finally settle at the empty field near the sports ground, right by the old air raid shelter. However, we have barely finished setting up our equipment. When the nearby workers cannot handle the awful stench anymore, they drop their tools and bolt. They barely escape when innocent students heading to class get slammed by the horrible smell. They furiously curse under their breath and quickly scatter in absolutely every direction. I lock my eyes on the wild experiment. Almost finished. I release a long, truly relieved breath. Finally, it is almost over. But before I can relax, Dean Carter desperately rushes onto the field, with Professor Lee and the rest following closely, all hurrying over. Dean Carter tries to speak, but immediately slaps his hand over his mouth, violently gagging. The horrible smell hits him like a brick wall. Professor Lee covers her face, looking deeply disgusted. Fighting the urge to puke, Dean Carter points at me, absolutely furious. Liam, stop this right now. I stare at him, confused. What is wrong, Dean Carter? Professor Lee actually assigned this to me herself. The second I say that, Professor Lee takes a very deliberate, slow step backward. The vice dean firmly pinches his nose. Are you clueless? Students are literally having intense hallucinations from this terrible gas. Stop the experiment. I am confused. We both know that is wrong. It is just a terrible smell. Suddenly, the security chief erupts into a super creepy, unsettling laugh. Then, he weirdly wraps his arms around a small, twisted tree nearby, lovingly rubbing his cheek against the rough bark. Do not leave me. I promise to never yell again. I just awkwardly stare. Is he seriously in love with the tree? Then Dean Carter starts acting weird too. He strikes an adorable little girl pose, eagerly looking around at everyone. Am I super cute? My stomach drops. They are totally poisoned. Seeing this wild madness, Professor Lee quickly backs away several dozen meters. Liam, what on earth is in that thing? She quickly pulls out her phone, desperately calling the school nurse for backup. I raise my hands. I did nothing different. It is the same experiment I always do. Then why is Dean Carter hallucinating now? I frown deeply. You have to be totally wrong. If my experiment was truly that toxic, everyone inside the lab building would already be suffering heavily. Do not believe me? Call and check. Professor Lee dials immediately. Old George quickly answers, loudly cursing. A blue streak, as usual. Zero signs of poisoning anywhere. Everyone inside the lab is still perfectly fine. I spread my hands. See, it is definitely not my experiment. The school nurse finally arrives, holding a super sharp smelling substance directly under the dean and the security chief. Within moments, both guys abruptly snap back to absolute reality. Professor Lee immediately explains everything to Dean Carter, detailing every single point. The dean deeply furrows his brow. So, you are telling me Liam did not cause this poisoning? But I clearly started hallucinating right after I smelled his experiment. My eyes quickly scan the surrounding area. The overgrown grass, the old slope, and those scattered construction materials. Everything looks completely normal. Then suddenly, My gaze locks onto the exact spot where Dean Carter was standing. There is a sewer manhole cover right there. Right at that very moment, the system panel appears. High hydrogen sulfide concentration detected. Origin municipal sewer manhole 22 feet ahead. Drainage channel is blocked. Hydrogen sulfide leaking through gaps. Danger level extreme. Mild exposure causes wildly vivid hallucinations. So what do we learn here? Severe exposure causes sudden collapse or fading away. Concentration is already at moderate poisoning levels. Stick with me, it was not his experiment. Today, students just wandered near that manhole and inhaled the sewer gas. Thank goodness Marcus and our main guy wore their masks. Otherwise, they would be totally wiped out alongside the others. Hydrogen sulfide is incredibly dangerous. With the concentration inside that pipe, one single breath means game over. Just thinking about it makes him shudder. He spins around, waving frantically. He warns everyone to stay away from the cover. That must be what caused the sickness. The entire group freezes up. He waves them back, urgently directing everyone to step far away. His experiment did not make anyone sick. Professor Lee can absolutely back him up. She watched the whole thing. Professor Lee nods immediately, confirming he was just running his test the entire time. Yes. He spreads his hands. See? This had nothing to do with him. You can still smell his experiment. And nobody here is hallucinating right now, are they? Everyone who fell ill walked down that exact path. Nowhere near his lab equipment. Want proof? Just have the chemistry department come test the air. That will settle everything perfectly. Dean Carter immediately turns to face the vice dean. Go get Professor Wong from chemistry. Bring an air detector over here right now. The vice dean makes that call instantly. Minutes later, Professor Wong rushes over. His two students jogging behind with the heavy testing gear. They strap on masks, testing the air around his setup from a very safe distance. Professor Wong carefully studies the new data readings. Mostly organic sulfur compounds and trace ammonia. Toxicity is low. Following directions, he moves toward the pathway. Now watch closely. The very second the detector nears that manhole cover gap, alarms blare and the numbers completely spike. The alarm grows sharp and frantic. Professor Wong turns pale. His voice suddenly cracks. Oh, my. It's hydrogen sulfide. Everyone get back. This concentration is fatal. It causes intense hallucinations and sudden collapse. The crowd scrambles backward in a panic. Professor Lee retreats while urgently waving at our main guy. Why are you still standing there? He points helplessly at his gear, but the experiment is practically finished. Professor Lee stomps her foot. Are you serious right now? Your safety or your science experiment? Which matters more? Get over here. Giving up, he shuts everything down and retreats. Marcus slides up, looking visibly shaken. That was way too close. Without those gas masks, they would be completely finished right now. Dean Carter springs into action immediately. He orders emergency management and the Environmental Protection Agency to be notified. Clear everyone from this area instantly and hold the students back. Then he turns to Professor Wong. How did this even happen? Wong thinks for a second. Hydrogen sulfide is totally colorless with the rotten egg scent. Under normal circumstances, you would notice it instantly. But today, Liam's experiment created an overwhelming odor that completely masked the dangerous gas. You see that coming? Dean Carter slowly nods in understanding. Liam quietly inches behind Professor Lee. About 15 minutes later, vehicles from the Environmental Monitoring Center and the Fire Department finally arrive. Workers quickly establish a perimeter, pushing back any curious students gathering to watch. Technicians carefully slide a sampling tube right into the manhole cover gap. The instrument screen goes absolutely wild. A technician's muffled voice speaks through his mask. Confirmed hydrogen sulfide peak reading, over 1,000 parts per million. At this level, a few breaths cause instant knockout and respiratory failure. The only sound left on site is the terrifying screaming of that detector. Then the technician adds more bad news. They are detecting methane. The concentration just hit the lower explosive limit. This is a highly flammable, explosive, toxic gas zone. All regular equipment must be kept far away from the manhole. Absolutely no open flames allowed. The moment he says that, everyone instinctively turns to stare right at Liam. Dean Carter drops his head. He looks completely defeated. Professor Lee quickly asks the technician how this gas is leaking, but before anyone can answer, Liam steps up. It is actually pretty simple. Sewers run everywhere underground. Normally, these gases have space to just disperse. But this specific line got blocked during the recent civil defense construction nearby. With nowhere else to escape, the dangerous gas pushed up right here. He barely finishes speaking before a technician snaps to attention, staring at his device. The background gas reading contains an abnormally high concentration of a very specific signature. Pollutant, copper iodine aerosol. Professor Wong sucks in a very sharp breath. From what he knows, the electronics factory next door uses copper sulfate. Their wastewater would be loaded with copper ions. That stuff is an incredibly efficient catalyst for converting organic matter into dangerous gas. The experts just confirmed there are copper ions down there. That factory is the only source. Are they connected? Dean Carter's expression shifts immediately. Trust me, things get wild. That massive electronics plant across the 10-lane road from our campus? A place that size should definitely have top-tier wastewater treatment. Stick with me here. Why dump into the city sewer? Was there an accident? He instantly turns to the environmental team leader. Can you run a test? Check the sewer gas concentration from the school all the way to that factory. The entire team springs into action immediately. Sure enough, the closer they get to that factory, the higher the hydrogen sulfide and copper levels in the water climb. Luckily, nobody was standing anywhere near those two root manholes. Otherwise, we would be looking at a situation way worse than just hallucinations. The environmental team leader's face completely hardens. Right then and there, he decides to storm the factory. Dean Carter doesn't hesitate for a second. Leaving the vice dean in charge, he marches right across that massive road with our crew. Reaching the factory entrance, the security guard spots our giant group and immediately steps up to block us. Dean Carter steps right up. I am the dean. These are official environmental protection agents. We have an absolute emergency and must speak with your management right now. The guard frantically rushes inside. Minutes later, a middle-aged guy in a suit comes jogging out. Dean Carter, nice to meet you. I am Deputy Liu, the factory's vice general manager. What happened? The environmental leader gives him a super quick, crystal clear breakdown. Deputy Liu's face goes instantly pale. That is completely impossible. Sure, we use copper sulfate in the etching workshop, and it creates that wastewater, but we have a flawless treatment system already in place. Let me take you to see it. He leads us straight inside the huge facility, marching past several busy workshops toward the etching floor. The second we walk in, a sharp chemical smell hits hard. Copper sulfate mixed with hydrochloric acid. Technicians immediately inspect every main drainage point and pipe connection, but there are zero obvious leaks. Watch closely. This is where it gets wild. While everyone stands around totally confused, I crouch down and swipe a hidden wet patch. I look closely, a faint blue-green smear. I stand straight up. Deputy Liu, was the wastewater treatment station built exactly when this etching workshop was? Or was it added much later? Deputy Liu freezes up. The treatment station came later, maybe 2 or 3 years after. Why? I instantly frown. That means the original drainage layout and the current one might clash. Deputy Liu's forehead breaks into a nervous sweat. Piping was definitely modified during expansion. I immediately point right at that trail of blue-green floor marks. It clearly winds toward a super old floor drain hidden in the corner. If that pipe renovation was sloppy, old outlets might still run straight into the city sewer, especially when production pressure is insanely high and the wastewater flow totally spikes. Could immense pipe pressure be forcing wastewater backward through those totally abandoned outlets? The environmental leader's expression shifts completely. Go straight to the wastewater treatment station. Check the inflow volume against actual process volume. Do the numbers add up? The entire group sprints fast, rushing into the wastewater treatment station. The manager frantically pulls up today's operational data. Today's inflow is nearly 40% above normal. The treatment system is at max capacity. Before anyone can respond, a control panel technician yells out, "Wait! The pH readings inside the neutralization tank are totally off. You and I both guessed it. A massive volume of acidic copper wastewater is backing up. The wild truth is finally out." Deputy Liu's face loses all its color. Why is this only being discovered right now? Shut everything down instantly. The manager kills all the machines on the spot. The etching workshop goes completely silent, and that sharp chemical smell fades almost instantly. Deputy Liu slumps right onto the floor, completely drained. The environmental leader's face goes rock hard. Lock down the entire facility. Get the emergency response team here. Full inspection, seal, and check every single pipe. Right then, confidently walk over to Deputy Liu. "Does your sewer system run through this entire factory?" Deputy Liu stares blankly, nodding. "Yeah, why?" My expression instantly tightens. Then the ground beneath this entire factory is basically one giant toxic chamber right now. Plus, methane is building up. Those heavy words hit the room like an absolute slap. Deputy Liu completely freezes. Dean Carter and Professor Lee stare at each other. Right. How did we forget that? Remember that crazy incident where kids dropped firecrackers into a methane-filled manhole, blasting a huge concrete ring straight into the air? It totally wiped out every single car nearby. And that was just one manhole. This is an entire factory's worth. If someone so much as flicked a single cigarette butt down here, the consequences would be unimaginable. That terrifying thought hits everyone simultaneously. Every face in that room completely drops. Dean Carter snatches his phone, calling the vice dean immediately. "Get an excavator and seal every manhole connecting to the school." Deputy Liu zones out. "Trust me, you won't believe what happens next. Stick with me." The stream viewer count spikes, and chat absolutely explodes. Call him the Explosion King. Everywhere this guy walks, something randomly blows up. Send him overseas to study, and he would easily level the place. Now, we see why firefighters have such risky jobs. The true threat is not the fire. It is massive toxic gas explosions. Good thing they caught it early. Otherwise, West University would dominate breaking news headlines again tomorrow morning. At least today, it is just the neighbors. After a long moment, Deputy Liu finally snaps back to reality. Hands shaking, he calls the chairman to report the chaos. A super long pause follows, then a massive roar from the line. "Are you ruining me? Evacuate every single worker right now, then call the police. I am heading over." Deputy Liu hangs up and instantly shouts the orders down the line. Seconds later, loud alarms blare across the entire facility. The intercom keeps repeating the emergency evacuation order. Workers sprint toward the exits in a panic, but at the absolute worst possible moment, frantic screams erupt from the direction of the dormitory building. "Help! People are collapsing inside the dorms." Deputy Liu's face turns pale, and he takes off, sprinting toward the dormitories. I catch Dean Carter's eye. "Watch closely here." We follow right behind. The second we reach the dorm building, an overwhelming rotten egg stench absolutely hits us head-on. Everyone instinctively steps backward. Several uniformed workers are frantically pounding on the locked dorm doors. My roommate is still in there, not answering. My husband worked the night shift. He must be asleep inside. Knocking and calling does absolutely nothing. The security chief arrives with heavy tools and forces one door wide open. A worker is slumped on the floor. His lips and face are dark purple, completely unconscious. Rescue teams instantly split up and start forcing their way into room after room. Dean Carter and the others look on in pure horror. So many people collapsed. I figure it out incredibly fast. The dorm drainage pipes must connect straight to the sewer. The toxic gas inside the factory had nowhere to escape, so it traveled back up the pipes. Look, every single victim is on the 3rd floor or below, and every door and window inside those rooms was sealed shut. Everyone finally understands, and as more and more doors are forced open, the victim count keeps climbing rapidly. The hallway is totally filled with workers collapsed in every direction. Over a dozen unconscious bodies scatter across the floor. Right then, fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, and massive hazmat vehicles come rolling in one after another. Paramedics rush to carry the unconscious workers away for emergency treatment. Firefighters quickly establish a safety perimeter. The hazmat team and engineering unit move quickly into position. Over an hour later, the toxic gas inside the sewer system is finally fully brought under control. Environmental testing confirms the methane is below the explosive threshold, and hydrogen sulfide levels are within safe limits. Everyone lets out a long, heavy breath. During this exact time, the chairman arrives. He talks briefly with Dean Carter. Hearing I spotted the problem, he walks straight over with a huge smile. You and I both know what comes next, right? Young man, I cannot thank you enough for today. I smile back. You are too kind, Chairman. He pats my shoulder firmly. You call me Chairman, so I will make you a huge promise right now. When you graduate, come directly to work for me. I will set you up with a solid position. Manager, how does that sound to you? Before I can decline him, Dean Carter cuts in, grinning. A manager position? He would not even bother. Commissioner Chen personally asked him to join the police force. He said no. A top military commander begged him to enlist, and he turned that down too. Unless you hand over the chairman's seat, I will turn you down on his behalf. The chairman looks right over at Dean Carter. I hear the school has been raising funds to rebuild that old sports field. I will donate 10 million from the company. Personally, I will give Liam 100,000 as a token of my gratitude. Hearing that, my smile and Dean Carter's stretch wide at exactly the same moment. We both step forward, sink down on each side, and tightly grab his hands. Thank you, Chairman. You are such a good man. Even Dean Carter is taken aback by how fast he moved. After some more small talk, the environmental monitoring vehicle releases its final report. Hydrogen sulfide concentration in the facility and surrounding sewers has safely dropped below 10 parts per million. Methane is nicely below the explosive threshold. All indicators meet safety standards. Fire trucks and the rescue vehicles begin pulling away one by one. Everything seems to finally be settling down in peace. But just as the environmental team wraps up their final checks to leave, the expert monitoring sewer gas readings suddenly snaps to attention. Team leader, our instruments are showing hydrogen sulfide and methane levels rising extremely rapidly. Confirmed. This is not residual gas dispersal. Readings show the surge is coming from that direction. Trust me, we are far from finished here. Come along with me here. He points toward the massive sewer line stretching past the factory, and everyone instantly follows his finger. The chairman turns completely pale. It is not our factory. The environmental team leader immediately issues the strict order. Begin the tracking. Deploy the pipe camera and remote gas sampling gear. Move. Technicians rapidly unroll their lines as they go, carefully tracing back along the main sewer trunk. That absolutely reeks of awful rot. Since Dean Carter and I discovered it first, we are allowed to follow safely behind the main squad. Honestly, the live camera footage coming back from the sewer is incredibly disturbing. The inner pipe walls are completely coated in thick grease with random debris stuck everywhere. Now pay attention here. The operator suddenly gasps out loud. The pipe ahead looks totally blocked. On the control screen, a massive gray mass is almost completely sealing the entire pipe. It almost looks completely alive. A weird, slow pulse moves across its surface. Look closer, and gas is constantly building up right inside it. Bizarre bubbles keep rolling and popping across that super thick surface. The absolute craziest part, this huge mass has a surface temperature of over 86 degrees Fahrenheit. At that exact moment, a wild system alert pops up. Giant fatberg detected. It is completely inactive right now. Extreme danger level. Internal structure totally unstable. Any physical shock or spark could trigger a massive methane blast or toxic gas leak. The system recommends controlled burning. I take a very slow, deep breath. A fatberg. The environmental team leader looks at me, totally surprised. You actually know what this is? I nod confidently. Saw it on TV once. A fatberg forms when cooking grease perfectly mixes with tossed out solid waste down here. It hardens into a supermassive solid block. The sewage inside this pipe is totally lacking any oxygen. Special bacteria break down all the organic matter and create absolutely massive amounts of hydrogen sulfide gas. Then our factory spilled acidic copper wastewater, which accidentally washed down here, becoming the absolute perfect catalyst that massively accelerated all this gas production. Now, the factory is closed, stopping the copper source completely. Firefighters kept pulling gas out, so the nasty production actually slowed down for a little while, but they simply could not extract it fast enough. And tons of copper wastewater already reacted with the fatberg. Even without more wastewater, it simply will not stop releasing toxic methane. It was barely growing before, but the copper completely awakened it. Now, this crazy monster is running at absolutely maximum speed. I know what you are thinking. Everyone stares at me silently. The chairman stumbles backward, almost fainting. So, what do we do now? Does our factory stay closed until this gets fixed? The leader slowly nods. I have seen plenty of blockages, but absolutely nothing this huge or this active. We absolutely need the fire department involved to solve this crazy mess. He urgently calls them. Shortly after, the brave fire crew that just left base comes rushing right back here. To see the fatberg clearly, courageous firefighters suit up in full protective gear and jump directly into the dark sewer, without any hesitation at all. When everyone sees the huge fatberg on the live feed, all the color completely drains from their faces. The chairman totally loses his cool. He violently throws up on the spot. At the main command post, the environmental leader and fire experts angrily argue over the complex sewer map. One expert aggressively jabs the map. We should bring in huge freezers and inject liquid nitrogen to lower the temperature. Another expert instantly waves off his bold idea completely. No way. A sudden freeze will shatter the shell, releasing everything instantly. That is literally detonating a bomb right there. The fire chief taps the map. Use high-pressure water cannons to smash it remotely, and then pull it out with strong suction. The environmental leader nervously wipes cold sweat from his forehead. That is way too dangerous. The water impact alone could trigger it. If it breaks, that huge toxic mess will completely clog every single pipe downstream for sure. Toxic mist and highly flammable gas would instantly flood the sewers. The terrible results would be completely disastrous. Every single proposal just fails miserably. Just as everyone completely gives up, I loudly clear my throat. Let us just burn it down. The entire room goes dead silent. Everyone slowly turns toward me. The chief stares blankly. Burn it? Are you totally crazy right now? Do you even know how much highly explosive methane is inside? One tiny spark blows the entire street apart. The team leader and the other experts all frown together, but I just smile very calmly. I know the exact risks. That is exactly why we absolutely must burn it. This fatberg is basically a crazy runaway chemical reactor. Now, the massive danger comes from trapped methane with absolutely nowhere to go. Every single safe option is basically just trying to slowly manage a bomb that is about to explode. The process is slow with too many variables. You and I know playing it safe fails. Why not change our thinking entirely? Stick with me here. We actively light the fuse ourselves, turning this unpredictable ticking bomb into one perfectly directed, controlled energy release. He picks up a pen, swiftly sketching a brilliant diagram onto the map. First, we carve out a pressure relief vent safely downstream. Then we install heat-resistant guide pipes and a custom combustion nozzle. We blast precisely measured pure oxygen straight into the fatberg, mixing it with its natural methane to create an absolute optimal combustion ratio. Then we run a heat-resistant ceramic tube, feeding a specialized electric igniter precisely right into our designated combustion chamber. Once sparked, the raging flames and gases shoot along the preset guide pipe, blasting out the relief vent like one steady, controlled, massive mega torch. I dropped the pen. Basically, we aren't exploding it. We're building a custom furnace and letting this nasty thing steadily burn itself out until nothing is left. The fire chief stares intensely at the diagram, mentally speed running through every single step. The team leader steps forward. Theoretically, it works. Watch closely. This is genius. The trick is controlling gas levels and keeping the vent perfectly clear. If this works, we aren't just solving a crisis today. It turns all that pollution into harmless water and air. The fire chief slams the table. Let's do this thing. He grins. Kid, I seriously underestimated you. I will admit that. Professor Lee suddenly pulls me aside. How do you even know this? I smirk. If it involves things going boom, I'm kind of an expert. Professor Lee nods slowly. Oh really? Next time I research volcanic sediment rocks, you are definitely coming along. I stare blankly at her. Isn't that a bit of a rash choice? Plan confirmed. The chief immediately orders all the units to start preparations using my exact strategy. Commands fly out one after another. The entire rescue operation kicks right back into high overdrive. Time ticks by, second by agonizing second. Once all preparations are completely locked in, the fire chief grabs his radio. All teams stand by. We are entering the execution phase. Miles away, the operator smashes the red button with full force. The ground literally shudders beneath my shoes. Down at the relief vent, a massive burst of bright orange fire erupts. On the monitoring screens, the dangerous red curve for hydrogen sulfide completely plummets. The safe green curve climbs steadily. Watching it all unfold, I finally feel the heavy tension leave my racing chest. The controlled burn is actually working. The chief lets out a huge breath, turning to me and extending his hand with total respect. Liam, on behalf of everyone on this rescue squad, thank you so much. What you did here today was unmatched. I firmly shake his hand back. You're too kind. But hey, is there a reward? The fire chief bursts out laughing. Absolutely, kid. I will send someone to your school with a fancy award and a sweet $3,000 scholarship. I scratch my head awkwardly. An award ceremony? Can we skip that part? Could I maybe just take the cash? We all saw this coming, right? Dean Carter's eye twitches. Liam, this honor is priceless. You cannot buy that. Accept the award, and I will personally hand you $5,000. I instantly agree, grinning wide. Now, that works perfectly. Suddenly, the environmental leader frowns. A fatberg this absolutely massive doesn't just magically appear out of thin air. We need the source. Organize a surprise inspection for every factory near the site. Check all discharge records. The strict order immediately goes out. The joint inspection team moves out instantly. Half an hour later, someone returns with a big report. Inside an old abandoned factory a few hundred meters away, they found fresh tire tracks and completely shattered plastic drums. Faint lights are flickering inside. The heavy sound of machinery loudly hums from deep within that dark building. The inspection team immediately locks down all exits and moves in. Just 100 meters inside, they uncover a hidden operation. The doors swing open. Several sketchy production lines are running. Thick, gross liquid loudly bubbles inside open heating vats. Workers are dumping literal food waste and kitchen scraps into the pools. After basic heating, the clear oil on top gets siphoned and packed away. The foul black sludge and wastewater left behind gets drained through a hidden hose, pouring right down a custom-cut floor hole straight into the city sewer. This is a totally illegal gutter oil processing den. Officers storm the place, taking everyone into custody. After quick questioning, the whole crazy picture becomes crystal clear. This shady operation had been gathering waste oil nightly, buying cheap scraps from restaurants, even dredging city sewers. Then, they refined it into low-grade cooking oil to sell for a massive profit. All the toxic sludge and filthy waste water they produced, dumped straight down into the main municipal sewer. Over time, all that grease and waste mixed perfectly together, eventually congealing into that absolutely massive, dangerous fatberg. So what do you and I learn here? That wild crisis, starting from school sewer gas, is officially closed. Stick with me here. The officers leave, so Dean Carter and I head straight back to the campus. Just before leaving, Professor Lee shouts, "Hey Liam, if you were completely free this Saturday, want an awesome independent internship?" She whips out her phone and opens her contacts. This is Kyle. He graduated a couple years right before you. He is doing really well. He works at the Get Rich Quick Institute. I already gave him a big heads up about you coming. Save this number and find him tomorrow. I just stare at her. The Get Rich Quick Institute? I have never heard of any research lab named like that. Is this place even actually legitimate? Professor Lee waves me off entirely. Who cares about the name? Just go. As my favor, he will definitely protect you. She completely refuses rejection. I have zero choice and agree. Besides, my schedule tomorrow is totally free anyway. I save the number and happily walk back to the dorm with Marcus. That night in bed, I use my skill draws instantly. Boom. I score forensic analysis and awesome ventriloquism. The next morning, as expected, a brand new rule is posted in the cafeteria. No outdoor experiments allowed for students. The system happily grants me one bonus skill draw. After breakfast, I call Kyle immediately. His voice sounds incredibly warm and super eager. He instantly agrees on our meeting spot. Soon after, I spot him at a busy cafe. Seeing me, he jumps right up and excitedly waves me over. "Liam, I heard amazing things. Professor Lee said you were visiting. I barely slept at all last night. Do not worry, I will completely protect you from now on." Kyle seats us both and eagerly flags down 3 hot coffees. My treat to go wild. By the way, who is this guy? I smile back. A friend joining me. Kyle cheerfully claps my shoulder. Awesome. Any friend of yours is my friend. After chatting a bit, I look right at him with huge, eager expectations. Kyle, Professor Lee mentioned your Get Rich Quick Institute job. I am super passionate about actual lab work. Could you take me there to visit? When I say institute, a weird, barely visible stiffness quickly flashes across his entire face. He quickly laughs it off. Ha, of course. The Get Rich Quick Institute loves ambitious young guys exactly like you. We will go right now. Prepare to be blown away. He quickly hails a cab. The car winds through endless turns, finally stopping at a super sketchy complex. Kyle hops out first, proudly pointing at the dark stairwell. Now watch closely. The moment I step out, I freeze completely. This looks absolutely nothing like a real scientific research lab. Is paleontology funding actually this terrible? Kyle casually strolls into the stairwell, still smiling widely. Come on, it is on floor 1. Let me knock. He steps up to a heavily rusted security door and taps it using a very specific rhythm. Exactly, like a hidden secret knock. A few seconds pass. The door clicks open a crack. A guy with a buzz cut peers right out. Spotting Kyle, he instantly flashes a huge fake smile. Kyle, you brought another brand new friend. He steps aside to let us in. I walk inside, feeling completely certain that something is terribly wrong here. Stepping through the door, I instantly see dozens of cheap red plastic chairs sitting in neat rows. A massive red banner hangs ahead, printed with huge bold yellow letters. Welcome, newest member to the Get Rich Quick family. About a dozen youths around Kyle's age line the entire side of the room. The second I walk in, they instantly snap into 2 perfectly neat, strict rows. A man strides out from the back. Everyone clap. Welcome the newest member to our Get Rich Quick family. Loud, robotic voices echo together, filling the room. Warmest welcome. I glance over at Kyle. He is still grinning wildly. Awesome vibe, right? I force a tight smile and nod. Sure, thanks. The grinning, suited man casually waves for everyone to sit down. Today, we welcome a new friend. Let me teach everyone how to hit your first massive financial milestone super fast. He enthusiastically writes. 5-tier pyramid scheme on the whiteboard. He talks endlessly without pausing. We both see it, right? Everyone looks thrilled, but I just sit there with a totally blank, confused stare. This is a pyramid scheme, Den. No doubt at all. Professor Lee, you sneaky snake. You absolute snake. You promised a totally independent internship. This is a pyramid scheme. The live stream chat suddenly erupts. The viewer count rapidly climbs. 8th grade dropout wearing a cheap suit, shiny shoes, silky socks, rolling suitcases, and tons of empty hype. I just sit through this incredibly mindless, repetitive sales pitch for a while, barely even keeping my eyes open. Sitting here any longer feels totally unbearable. I need a fast escape. I raise my hand. My stomach feels terrible. I must use the restroom. The suitman smiles and nods, then quickly shoots a hard look at someone nearby to follow me. I sneak into the bathroom, whistling super casually while running the tap. So what do you and I make of this crazy mess? I press flush, but after several weak, sluggish attempts, the water level never drops at all. Alright, stick with me. You are not ready. For what? Bubbles from this bowl. A wildly toxic stench explodes upwards. It is so brutally thick it makes your eyes sting. I'm practically gagging on every single breath. I frown, violently mashing the flush button on repeat. But the toilet just hums a totally dry spin. The tank is entirely empty now. The water drains away entirely, yet that awful smell gets insanely worse. I cover my face tightly and rush straight for the exit door. The second it swings open, I spot one of those guys who tailed me earlier. An unlit cigarette is casually dangling from his lip. He sees me leaving and just brushes right past me into the stall. The wooden door clicks completely shut behind him. Then comes the sharp click of a lighter. A second later, a massive, bone-rattling explosion erupts from inside. The solid door violently bows outward, totally warping on its hinges. Huge cracks splinter across the wooden panel. A blistering shockwave and an absolutely unholy smell blast through every crack instantly. The entire room of guys dreaming about quick cash instantly jumps up in pure panic at the deafening boom. Loud screams and falling chairs erupt into total chaos. Everyone stares at the bathroom door in absolute shock. I am standing closest. The wild blast and awful smell hit me hard, sending me staggering backward. Then the door blasts open violently. The dude who just walked and stumbles out, totally dizzy. His clothes are utterly shredded. His face and hair are totally covered in dripping brown sludge. That cigarette is completely gone. All he has left is a blank, totally empty stare. His mouth opens like he wants to talk, but only a raspy wheeze escapes. His eyes are as wide as plates. I step back fast, cringing. Now watch closely, because what I see inside that bathroom sends an absolute chill right through me. The bathroom is totally wrecked. The toilet is entirely missing. There is just a broken pipe, shattered porcelain everywhere, and huge chunks blasted onto the ceiling. Gross filth slowly oozes down the walls. The whole room reeks of gas and waste. The suit guy finally snaps out of his daze. Hey, Leo, what just happened? Are you alright? He reaches for Leo, but seeing that gross sludge, he instantly yanks his hand away. He violently spins toward me. What in the world were you doing in there? I throw my hands up defensively. Nothing at all. Everyone crowds around to stare. They stare at the former bathroom, now reduced to an absolutely revolting disaster zone. Every single one of them is just standing there completely speechless. The live chat goes absolutely insane. Viewer counts are surging like crazy right now. The first huge explosion today, and it is literally a toilet. Moderators, you are seriously not blurring this out? You really want us losing our lunch? Normal people in pyramid schemes worry about getting scammed. Liam walks in, and the entire shady operation completely falls apart. Right amid this wild chaos, I glance at the ruined toilet. Suddenly, the glowing blue system panel flashes directly in front of my face. Warning, extreme danger energy detected. That broken toilet pipe connects directly into the massive underground septic tank. The water seal broke from those repeated failed flushes. Now, highly concentrated methane gas has massively flooded back into this tiny enclosed room. Hitting that open lighter flame instantly triggered a localized explosion. The blast totally shattered the underground tank structure and vent pipes. Now, The internal pressure and heat are destabilizing at an insane rate. Methane levels are surging. Main explosion hits in 30 seconds. Evacuating to 200 meters is strongly recommended. My eyes go wide. I know what you are thinking. Run. I turn to Marcus and the others, still standing there, frozen like statues. Run now. The underground tank is about to blow. Get as far away as possible. I scream, frantically, grabbing Marcus by the arm. I shoulder check to stun guys aside and sprint for the front exit like my entire life depends on it. Marcus trips as I violently yank him forward. Then his survival instinct kicks into overdrive. The room becomes absolute chaos. The farther I run, the worse that awful stench gets. Finally, the suit guy realizes something is incredibly wrong here. He sprints away first. Leo just stands there completely dazed, still heavily dripping in that gross filth. Wait, what about me? The suit guy visibly winces. Just run away. With that, he leads the panicked charge out the door. The exact second the last guy escapes, a terrifyingly deep rumble fiercely surges up from underground. The heavy street manhole cover blasts dozens of meters into the sky. The underground concrete walls are violently blown into tiny little pieces. A giant shockwave hurls thick sludge everywhere, raining down mercilessly. It literally looks like a massive, disgusting brown flower blooming across the sky. It crashes down like a filthy storm. Over a dozen park scooters get totally flipped by the blast. Every clean sheet on the clotheslines instantly turns brown. The local security guard peeks outside and takes a direct face full of gross sludge. He quickly ducks back inside. Every single building nearby gets completely splattered. The suit guy and his crew only make it 10 meters before the awful sight freezes them. That terrible brown rain pours straight down onto their heads. Marcus and I dive behind a nearby tree. He stares in shock. Bro, what did you do? And honestly, you and I are probably wondering the same. If I said this wasn't me, would you buy it? Marcus just shakes his head. Nope. I can literally feel a vein popping. Meanwhile, the livestream is totally blowing up. Comments are flooding in. High energy ahead. Non-combatants, please put your gas masks on. Total biohazard situation here. The biggest brown shower in livestream history. I'm absolutely crying. Stick with me. A black sedan and several police cruisers just pulled up to the complex entrance at the exact same time. Dean Carter and Professor Lee jump out first, their faces tight with worry. Splat! A glob of brown sludge drops right onto Dean Carter's forehead. The officers about to step out instantly slam their doors shut. Dean slowly raises a trembling hand to touch whatever just hit him. A totally wretched gag echoes loudly right through the main entrance. He frantically tries wiping it off his head, but every single swipe just spreads it further. Professor Lee quickly hands him a bottle of water. I clamp both hands tightly over my mouth. I almost burst out laughing, and forcing it back down physically hurts. Once it finally looks like the rain stops, the officers cautiously step into the compound. But the moment they round that first building, everyone goes completely dead silent and sucks in a breath. Dean Carter stares at the totally filthy pyramid scheme crew, then at me, standing perfectly clean under the tree. His face practically screams that he wants to disappear. Professor Lee points at me, his hand trembling. Liam, what on earth did you do? Then he closes his eyes and quietly asks if I am okay. I just scratch my head, step around the messy ground, and walk right over. Professor Lee, Dean Carter, I genuinely had absolutely nothing to do with this. The professor gives me a flat look. Funny, I still do not believe you. I let out a helpless laugh. Their toilet was totally broken. Methane was backing up through the bowl. Some guy went in there to light a cigarette and boom. And then the septic tank blew. Everyone listens to my completely dead calm explanation. Their faces twitch one by one. The officers survey the messy scene, completely at a loss. They immediately get on the phone and call for backup. The sanitation department chief rushes over, but one look at the scene turns his face pure white. He almost collapses entirely. We need to activate the major disaster emergency protocol. Now pay attention, you and I need to watch this. Detective Ray arrives with more officers, gives me a quick nod, then moves extremely fast, locking down the area. He starts taking statements from the pyramid scheme crew. They swarm around the officers, loudly wailing and begging. All they want is to get as far away from this nightmare as possible. It is only now that Senior Kyle fully processes he walked into an actual pyramid scheme. He wilts into a corner of the crowd, totally shrinking into himself. Professor Lee steps forward and stops right in front of Kyle. Kyle suddenly bursts into loud tears, literally slapping himself right across the face. Professor Lee, I am so sorry I let you down. He quickly turns to me. Liam, I swear I never meant to drag you into this mess. I am so sorry. I just wave him off. It is fine. I lost nothing. Professor Lee stares at Kyle's sorry state, pressing 2 fingers to his temple. What am I supposed to do with you? I told you to stay at the university. You just wouldn't listen. And now look, you ended up running a pyramid scheme. Never pull anything like this ever again. Kyle nods so fast his entire head becomes a blur. Got it. Understood. Meanwhile, the sanitation crew brings in a massive suction truck and a huge high-pressure wash vehicle. Workers quickly vacuum out every last drop of waste from the septic tank. High-pressure hoses completely blast every corner of the compound. Dean, Carter, and I are just about leaving when a sanitation worker suddenly waves right toward us. Detective, over here. Something's wrong. Everyone snaps their head toward where he is pointing. The bottom of the septic tank is split open, massive cracks spreading in every direction. Then a soft pop. A hole nearly half a meter wide opens up, pitch black, with no bottom in sight. Detective Ray's brow furrows hard. Everyone step back. You and I feel this tension, right? In the eerie silence, the system panel suddenly pops into view. Detected high-intensity geological and historical energy compound fluctuation below. Large-scale karst cave system. Natural cave expanded by human construction. Structured ancient tomb chamber confirmed. Underground river runs right beneath the burial level. Depth approximately 18 to 22 meters. Tomb structure destabilized by the explosion above. Risk of continuous collapse is high. I take a slow, deep breath. There is a massive karst cave down there and an ancient tomb inside it. A perimeter goes up fast. Detective Ray immediately directs the sanitation workers to clear the area around the hole. I walk straight over. Detective Ray, you need to call the Cultural Relics Bureau right now. There's a huge cave system down there, and I think there's an ancient tomb inside. The crowd erupts. Everyone pushes forward to peer inside. Detective Ray steps up. How can you tell? Get ready. You and I are about to uncover history. I point to the inner wall. Look closely up near the top of the opening. Stick with me, we're jumping right into a wild mystery. See those mixed, colorful soil layers packed tight with gravel? Right under it sits thick, pale gray clay. Tomb sealing clay. Ancient builders used this stuff to perfectly lock away burial chambers. That means the top part is rammed earth, so we have sealing clay hidden right under packed dirt. That screams ancient tomb, and whoever is resting down there, definitely a big shot. Normal folks just could not afford this setup. Detective Ray just rubs his chin. Makes sense. But how are you sure there is a cave? Before Liam can even reply, Professor Lee steps right up. He points at the wall. That bottom rock is pure limestone. You can actually see calcite crystals shining. That is exactly how karst caves form. Now, just listen very closely. A super faint sound of flowing water. Liam leans right into the gap. That earlier blast, plus tons of underground water erosion, crushed the packed dirt, exposing the hidden cave. Professor Lee pats his shoulder. Liam, your regular classes are great, but this crazy archaeology skill? When did you learn all this? Liam completely freezes up. He just awkwardly scratches his head. Just a fun hobby. Ray does not wait around. He immediately calls the city relics and geology teams. He explains the whole wild situation and every single brilliant detail of Liam's crazy analysis. About 20 minutes later, the city relics experts come rushing in at top speed. The exact second they see the site, the senior experts get absolutely starstruck and amazed. Professor King stands in the middle and waves everyone forward. Set up the gear. Let us scan this whole thing. Boom. They bust out a crazy fiber optic camera with massive lights. The cable slides perfectly down into the deep opening. Now watch closely here. They crowd the tiny screen. First, it is just boring falling dirt. Then 10 meters down, pops into a giant chamber. The camera reveals an epic hollow stretching into total darkness. And suddenly, every single person completely stops breathing. Right on screen, a massive coffin floats in midair. 9 rusty iron chains hold it tight, each anchored to a carved stone dragon. Professor King tightly clenches his fist. The legendary 9-dragon coffin. The whole squad is stunned, jaws totally dropped. No one ever expected to find this mythical treasure, but the cave is incredibly huge, and the camera can only see so much. After a really quick chat between the expert teams, they decide they are heading down there themselves. Professor Lee is not an official archaeologist, but his brain is brilliant, so they gladly invite him along. Since Liam found it and is his student, he gets to go too. It is super deep, so everyone grabs full protective gear. A massive crane drops them down one by one, super steady and safe. The geology guys go first. Professor Lee and Liam follow right behind. Marcus stays up top, rigging the camera straight onto Liam. The deeper they go, the colder it gets. Minutes late, Liam finally hits the solid floor. He totally steadies himself and shines his headlamp all around the space. That underground river is still rushing right beside him, and the water glows with a crazy, mysterious blue light. Then a super sharp yell echoes out, "Look right over there." Everyone instantly spins around to check. On the left wall, a creepy cluster of massive skull patterns stares right back. 7, maybe 8 total. And here is the freakiest part. You know that feeling when a painting watches you? Yeah, these skull eyes lock onto you from everywhere. Professor King pushes past his fear, stepping right up for a tap. They are not carved. 0 tool marks anywhere. They look like natural minerals forming along deep cracks. This is absolutely insane. Every single headlamp flashes right onto that skull wall. Under the bright lights, every detail pops perfectly. Then a younger crew guy starts wobbling. He mumbles about feeling weird. "I feel totally dizzy." Another guy grabs his head. "Same here." Staring at these things, I swear they are actually moving. The exact second he says it, half the squad completely agrees. A massive wave of dizziness hits Liam super hard too. Looking away instantly makes it better. Liam desperately grabs his professor. "Do not look. Everyone turn away right now." But the sheer madness is just beginning. While the whole team is freaking out, this low, super creepy whispering suddenly echoes right through the entire cave. The sound is literally everywhere. The team absolutely panics. Flashlights wave wildly in all directions, but there is nothing making the noise. Then a massive, terrified scream rings out. One guy points straight toward the glowing river. Something is over the water. Everyone turns, watching the river's light twist and warp in totally weird, crazy ways. Blurry shadow things just pop out of nowhere, twisting around, and suddenly, on a flat rock nearby, super clear, glowing ghost figures just appear. The young guy absolutely screams out, "Spirit soldiers, crawling from the water. Trust me, you, and I absolutely need to see what happens next. Stick with me here." The professors try calming everyone, but panic sets in fast. Suddenly, before you and I even blink, another disaster strikes. Crimson drops fall from above. A metallic scent fills the air. Someone screams loudly in sheer panic. The stone walls are weeping red. The whole team completely loses it. A younger member sprints toward the lift, yelling out, "Professor, this is the legendary 9-dragon coffin. This place is absolutely cursed. We must leave now." Total chaos erupts everywhere. Calmly, I hold out my hand, catching a few falling crimson drops. I bring the liquid closer, inspecting it carefully. My eyes narrow sharply. Suddenly, Professor Lee calls out loudly, right from behind me, "Liam, get away from there. That spot is extremely dangerous." Ignoring him, I simply rub the strange red liquid between my fingertips. Professor Lee, closely. It is red, but it totally lacks that real thickness and metallic scent. I aim my headlamp directly at the leaking stone wall's massive cracks. Here is my theory. This rock holds heavy iron compounds. Simply walking inside raised the cavern's overall temperature dramatically. That sudden heat forced the trapped moisture inside these rocks to expand rapidly outward through those cracks. The water dissolved the hidden iron. Then, the exact second it hit oxygen, it quickly oxidized into crimson rust. The stone isn't weeping. It is just basic chemistry. Professor King steps forward. I will give you that one. I agree on the red drops. But what about everything else? Like those creepy whispers we heard? I smile confidently, raising my hand to quiet the panicked group. This is not complicated either. Everyone, absolute silence. Stay exactly where you are. Make no sound. Do not move. Trusting my earlier red rain explanation, the team complies. Within mere seconds, those terrifying ancient murmurs fade out until they are completely gone. The dark figures on the wall stop moving entirely. I walk quickly toward a smooth, jade-green rock formation nearby. Now watch this closely. A natural stalagmite is barely touching the cave wall. I reach up, gently tapping its tip. A soft ring echoes out, and the murmuring surges back briefly, incredibly sharp and clear. A confident smile pulls at my lips. Do you get it now? Those ghost voices we heard are actually just a massive natural piezoelectric playback device. Hidden inside this entire wall are massive amounts of microscopic piezoelectric crystals, mostly natural quartz. Hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago, a devastating earthquake or massive lightning strike hit this very rock layer. That force was so immense, it captured human sounds from that era. Through crystal charge polarization, those echoes were literally encoded right into the rock itself. Same exact principle as an old-school record player. I point to the stalagmite beside me. The stalagmite pressing against the stone wall, it acts as the record player's natural needle. The sound waves we just created travel through the air and ground directly into this stalagmite. That stalagmite transfers the vibration into the wall, compressing the piezoelectric crystals hidden inside. This instantly generates a tiny electrical current, playing back those eerie sounds recorded centuries ago. I spread my hands. It's just an ancient recording, so the playback is severely muffled and distorted, exactly like an old tape rapidly running out of power. That is why it sounds so eerie at first. This logical explanation quickly turns their terrifying horror scene into a fascinating live science lesson. Even Professor Lee stares at me, looking completely stunned. Those Cultural Relics Bureau experts look at me completely differently now. Professor King rubs his aching temples. Then what about those moving ghost shadows? I just smile. You and I totally caught this, right? When we froze entirely, those creepy sounds completely vanished. And the eerie moving shadows froze instantly too. Professor King nods slowly. That is true. I figured it had something to do with us. I just couldn't figure out exactly how. I point at the shadows on the wall. Actually, it is straightforward. I pause, then look directly at Professor Lee. Professor Lee, slowly raise your right hand. Nodding, Professor Lee does exactly that, lifting his arm up very slowly. 2 or 3 seconds pass. Suddenly, one ghost arm on the wall lifts in the exact same eerie, delayed motion. I smile, pointing at the glowing river. Those mysterious shadows are us, our own literal reflections. The bioluminescent microorganisms in this river act as a natural glowing screen. Its rippling surface works like hundreds of weird funhouse mirrors, constantly warping and magnifying the reflected light. I quickly turn and point toward the glittering formations on the cave ceiling. Notice these mirror-like calcite crystals up on the roof? They take those distorted reflections and beam them precisely onto the surrounding stone walls. The final projection simply hits the rock face, and you get these creepy, twisting ghost figures. Everyone stares at me with pure wonder. Every bit of fear has magically transformed into fascination. I glance back at the skull patterns. Those skulls are basically made up of high-density concentric circles and massive spirals. If you stare at them way too long, your visual system gets tricked into thinking you are moving. but your inner ear tells your body you are perfectly still. That sensory mismatch is what triggers the intense dizziness and nausea. Same as motion sickness on a boat. Now that you stopped looking, you should all be fine, right? Everyone nods. The dizzy spell is completely gone. Every riddle solved. Now, what do you and I make of that creepy floating coffin? Let's find out. Let's dive into an incredible mystery. Climbing those massive chains is super risky. So the smart experts quickly use the thick cave rocks above to build a web-like suspended work platform. Aluminum alloy panels are carefully laid down to ensure stable footing and gear placement. The platform goes up incredibly fast. Professor King and his crew climb up, getting their first real look at the mysterious coffin. 2 tense hours later, the heavy lid finally swings open for everyone. Inside sits a human outline, completely covered in mystical ritual symbols. Professor King struggles to hold back his joy, signaling the camera crew to film absolutely every single angle. Grabbing a soft brush and bamboo pick, he starts clearing the ancient artifacts with such painstaking, careful precision. As the clearing finishes up, Professor King sighs heavily. The space is totally limited. Beyond these basic items, there is really nothing else of massive value inside. This basic loot completely fails to match the epic 9 dragon setup. Now, pay close attention here. While everyone murmurs in disappointment, I simply glance up at the cave ceiling. Suddenly, my shiny system panel flashes into view. Detected legendary historical artifact, the Imperial Seal. Up at the very top, where those 9 chains finally converge, rests the Dragon Eye node. The last emperor of later Tang lost his entire empire amidst the blazing flames at the Xuan Wu Tower. Right before that tragic fall, the royal advisor secretly swapped the imperial seal, carrying the genuine seal and guided by ancient techniques. The loyal advisor discovered this hidden Qian Long Yuan cave, harnessing the cave's powerful yin energy lines and dragon-shaped rocks. The brilliant advisor actually constructed the epic 9 dragon heavenlock formation, drawing in majestic dragon energy from the mountains to keep the seal's heavenly mandate fully intact, pure, and powerfully unbroken for generations, waiting for the glorious day it would finally emerge to restore the dynasty's legitimacy. My eyes widen in pure shock. The Imperial Seal. This legendary item symbolizes the mandate of heaven itself. Whenever it surfaced in history, unleashed absolute chaos across the entire land. I take several slow breaths to calm the emotional storm inside. Professor Lee spots my reaction and gently reaches over to pat my shoulder. Liam, are you okay? Is the cave air bothering you? Go up and catch your breath if you need to. I shake my head, raise my hand, and point straight up. Professor Lee, we have all been looking in the completely wrong place. You and I saw that coming, right? The coffin is a total fake out. Everyone suddenly stares up into the dark ceiling. Professor Lee leans in closer. Liam, what exactly did you find? I quickly organize the epic clues my system provided. In Feng Shui, there is a legendary rule called True Dragon's Return. These 9 chains are not just holding the coffin. By design, they are mystical channels conducting pure dragon energy upwards. The spot where all those thick chains converge is key. That is the true power center of this entire formation. The dragon energy is incredibly concentrated and completely pure there. If that fake coffin represents the human tier, the cave itself is earth tier, then the peak where those chains meet is the heaven tier. An epic setup like the 9 dragon coffin, if meant solely for a burial. Placing things at the human tier would be totally enough. That alone is incredible. But what if the goal was not just burial? What if it was built to protect a glorious treasure worthy of heaven's dragon power? That treasure simply must sit at the heaven tier, nourished by dragon energy flowing from all 9 chains, making it supreme. Legendary status. Totally clear. The coffin below is absolutely a clever decoy. It is a classic misdirection tactic. Show something shiny in the open, hide the real prize above. The ultimate Feng Shui technique, the burial of heaven. The entire crew erupts. Professor King's eyes light up with every word. His breathing quickens. That makes sense. It makes absolute perfect sense. Target the ceiling convergence point immediately. Use absolutely everything we have got. The crew instantly scrambles. Powerful beams shoot upward. A small drone quickly buzzes up into the darkness. As the camera zooms in, a hidden stone platform gradually takes shape on the monitors, flanked by stunning natural dragon-shaped cave rocks. The clever marks of deliberate human craftsmanship are completely undeniable. When the lens finally locks onto the center, a rich, glowing jade seal suddenly dominates the screen. And what makes every single heart skip a beat? One corner features a golden repair. Across the suspended platform, a massive wave of breathless gasps breaks out. Professor King's eyes bulge. His jaw drops wide open. 0 words come out. Professor Lee lurches forward involuntarily, while the other experts stare. Good lord, this shape? Pure jade quality. And that gold corner, is it the Imperial Seal? Professor King frantically rasps an order. Zoom in on the seal face. The operator instantly adjusts the drone angle and sharpens the camera focus. What do you and I see? 8 ancient characters, ordained by heaven. May the dynasty prosper forever. Professor Lee just stares at the screen, totally unblinking. It matches perfectly. Every single tiny feature aligns. You and I are witnessing absolute history here. Final checks aside, every single clue points to one mind-blowing truth. It is the legendary Imperial Seal, missing for over 1,000 years. Professor King clenches his fists tight. We find a way. Bring it down completely safely to run that final test. 0 mistakes allowed here. Nothing. Top experts quickly map out the whole ceiling structure, calculating chain weight distribution and precisely how the platform grips the rock. Their bold plan? Cut out the entire stone platform and its core rock straight from the ceiling, lowering the whole massive chunk together. This prevents any cave-in or structural damage while keeping the artifact completely safe. The second the plan locks, the mission begins. Down below, the crew forms defensive layers 3 rows deep. Nobody is risking any tiny mistake. Slicing through the rock is painfully slow, taking almost 1 full hour. Now watch closely. The final link snaps, and specialized rigging catches the massive stone platform holding our precious seal. Inch by slow inch, it drops from the high ceiling until it finally lands safely inside a shock-absorbing case on the platform. The whole team breathes a massive sigh of relief before pure joy explodes. Wild cheering fills the cave. Wearing clean white gloves, Professor King is literally shaking as he respectfully lifts the ancient seal right off the platform. He carefully places it onto a soft examination table. Blinding spotlights, aim straight down. Several high-definition cameras instantly lock on from every single angle. The top professors grab their magnifying glasses, spectrometers, and advanced tools to start the preliminary testing. Test results return flawlessly, confirming every single detail. Professor King looks up, scanning his incredibly emotional, red-faced team with total awe. Then his gaze meets mine. Based on the shape, the jade, the master craftsmanship, the text, and that iconic gold-inlaid corner piece, he declares that this epic artifact is almost undeniably the real Imperial Seal of the legendary Qin dynasty, hidden away from humanity for over 1,000 years. Liam, you deserve the ultimate credit. The entire room just explodes. The Imperial Seal is finally back, and this epic moment makes real history. Every single person here just became part of legends. I quietly shut down the live stream. Right then, Professor King gets an urgent call. It is Director Zhou Dingwen calling directly from the massive Palace Museum in Beijing. We watched your entire live stream. On behalf of the Palace Museum, I demand you activate the maximum level cultural artifact protection protocol right away. Our top experts and elite security forces already took off via private flight. Until I arrive to take command, you must guard it personally. Never let it leave your sight. Lock down all the data. Site security now belongs to us. That is an absolute order. Professor King nods firmly, understanding completely. He seals the priceless artifact into a custom case, clutching it tightly to his chest as the whole group begins an incredibly organized exit. Stick with me here. The elevator climbs slowly, but reaching the top, the unbelievable sight completely stops me cold. The whole pit is completely sealed. Heavily armed tactical officers stand guard on every single side, creating layer after intense layer of security. Commissioner Chen approaches with a smile. Liam, we meet again. I simply scratch my head. Commissioner Chen, good to see you. He casually greets Professor King, Professor Lee, and the others. The transport route and extreme security measures are set. I will personally escort you to the City Cultural Relics Bureau. Professor King offers a deeply grateful nod. Thanks. Commissioner Chen fiercely surveys the team before snapping his hand down. Move out. 3 massive black armored tactical vehicles lead the convoy. Dead center sits a custom heavy-duty armored transport. Close protection agents escort everyone, and we quickly board the beast. Inside, the precious seal case locks down tight onto a special shock-absorbing platform. Surrounding the transport, 4 heavy assault vehicles packed with tactical officers. Maintain a super tight formation. Guards grip their weapons, sharply, scanning absolutely every direction. An impenetrable outer wall of loud police cruisers and armored military troop carriers rolls forward. Up above, 2 police helicopters and a military gunship fly in perfect formation. Commissioner Chen's authoritative voice blasts over the command vehicle radio. All units, attention. The Imperial SEAL convoy is moving. Forward control activated as planned. The intense order goes out, and the entire massive city of Westport seems to hold its breath for us. Every single road is totally emptied. Police and armed soldiers forcefully seal off every big and small intersection. Hidden snipers hold positions on high rooftops along the path. I sit inside the armored beast, processing this madness. Before long, our heavy convoy smoothly parks right in front of the Cultural Relics Bureau. The entire facility is already locked down insanely tight. Professor King nervously carries the case himself, striding directly into the secure authentication lab. So what do you and I take away from this? True legends never die. He places the seal on black velvet, and as flawless results roll in, absolute perfection is finally confirmed. Stick with me here. The final dating report just arrived, confirming this legendary relic spans 2 millennia. The whole lab goes wild. Professor King's eyes well up. With every single piece of data compiled, they can officially declare it the true imperial seal, commissioned by the legendary first Emperor Qin, inscribed by Li. This is the absolute symbol of China's rightful dynasty succession. He turns to face me. Kid, thank you so much. Without you, this epic treasure would have stayed lost underground. He thanks me for every historian and cultural scholar out there. Thank you, he says, giving me an incredibly deep, formal bow. I panic, stopping him. Professor, that's way too much. But he just waves it off. It is huge, King insists. You are a once-in-a-generation genius. Such a massive shame. Li claimed you. Otherwise, I would totally drag you over to the Cultural Relics Bureau myself. Professor Li gives 2 sharp coughs, glaring hard. King freezes up, letting out a super awkward laugh. Just kidding, do not mind me, he chuckles. Right then, 2 sleek black sedans pull up outside the bureau simultaneously. Director Zhou from the Palace Museum and Director Li from the National Museum burst out of their cars in sync. Their eyes lock for one intense second. Without a single word, they both sprint right inside. Gasping for air, they squeeze through the lab doors at the exact same time. Now watch closely. The second their eyes hit the seal, both guys freeze completely. Director Zhou steps up first, adjusting his slipping glasses. It is totally real. Every detail matches the historical texts perfectly. Flawless. Taking a deep breath, Director Li steps up. Ordained by heaven, may the dynasty prosper eternally. This is a real national treasure. Suddenly, they snap back to reality. Eyes lock, and the fierce rivalry instantly sparks. Director Li starts the epic war. Zhou, this imperial seal represents China's absolute, rightful heritage. It belongs in the National Museum, where the entire world can witness our deep roots and our historical soul. Joe immediately fires right back. Who researches and preserves imperial seals better than the palace? The Forbidden City is the ultimate symbol of power. Taking the seal back there is like a leaf returning to its roots for eternity. The two totally go at it, faces turning red, completely ignoring every single person around them. The lab experts exchange totally helpless looks. Professor King tries interrupting repeatedly, but they just glare him down. Realizing this won't stop, Joe turns to Professor King. King, you found this. Be fair, we are old friends. The palace is obviously the right choice, right? Lee instantly follows up. King, I respect you. Do not let friendship blind you. The National Museum is right. You didn't see this coming, right? Professor King surprises everyone and points straight at Liam. This massive tomb discovery is all thanks to him. Everyone here knows it. Joe frowns deeply. King, all our years together, and you are hiding behind a kid? Not cool. Lee nods. If you don't want to pick, say so. King waves in defeat. I am serious. Ask anyone here. Both directors turn, and the whole room completely nods. Their skepticism instantly fades. Joe clicks his tongue. Impressive, kid. Want to join the Palace Museum after you graduate? I will find you something really great. Lee jumps right in. Hey handsome, single? My beautiful granddaughter is exactly your age. Let me introduce you to. Joe coughs loudly, interrupting. Kid, his granddaughter is an absolute tornado. You could never handle her. Come to the palace. Trust me. Lee's eyes bulge with absolute fury. You shameless old man. You really just went there. Joe snorts back. Like you are better? Dragging your own granddaughter into a negotiation over an ancient seal? You have got insane nerve. Did you even ask her first? And boom, they are fighting again, ignoring everyone. I stand there totally lost. Professor Lee taps my shoulder. Good luck. Giving him a look, I finally step up. Gentlemen, may I say something? Both men instantly freeze. Cold. I clear my throat nervously. One of you represents the palace, the other national. Normally, a treasure like this goes to one of you. But this seal? It is the ultimate national treasure. Just putting it on display next to other random relics? That feels totally wrong. So here's where we leave it. It deserves its own elite museum, built just for this one seal. You and I are about to watch a masterclass in negotiation. Both directors raise an eyebrow, then nod. I push forward. Since the relic was found here in Westport City, let's build the Imperial Seal Museum right here. Both of you can serve as co-directors. How does that sound? The second I drop those words, Professor King and the team completely light up. Director Joe and Director Lee exchange a look, and boom, genuine approval. Director Joe takes a deep breath. A dedicated museum right here in Westport City. I am totally in. But the Palace Museum is covering the construction costs. Director Lee immediately protests. Why should you cover it all? The National Museum will fund it and handle the ongoing maintenance. You shameless old man. You cheapskate. Just like that, these two are explosive powder kegs again. 10 minutes later, both guys finally run out of steam. The room settles back into a very serious discussion about the museum plans. The two directors plant themselves right next to the seal, totally ready to pull an all-nighter studying it. As for me, this is out of my hands. I'm just a normal student. None of this is my call. I cannot contribute anymore here. Honestly, I am afraid to. With my crazy luck, I would dig around and unearth something way wilder. That would be something. Professor King and the others see us off, and Professor Lee and I finally leave the Cultural Relics Bureau. We arrive back at campus, and I say my goodbyes to Professor Lee. I head straight for the dorm room. After such an insanely long day, I fall asleep instantly. I even totally forget to do my system. Lucky draw. The next morning, I wake up super groggy to my roommates making an absolute racket. I sit up and glance over. One guy is gripping a bug net. Another has a fly swatter raised. They look like they are bracing for absolute war. What are you guys doing, catching FLIs? Jason shoots me a seriously pained look. Liam, these are not FLIs. They are hornets. Remember the cracked ceiling? Yesterday, the repair workers found a massive hornet nest hidden in the rooftop waterproofing layer. Those poor guys got stung incredibly badly. Now, half the dorm rooms are dealing with this mess. Hearing that, I immediately jump up and get totally ready. I follow the guys up to the roof. Even from a distance, I easily spot the massive nest hanging between the panel gaps. Rooftop access is usually locked tight. No wonder nobody ever found it. Now pay attention, this gets wild. I watch the hornets buzzing, grab Jason's net, and creep toward the nest, step by step. Suddenly, a few dart straight at me. Smack! I swat every single one flat with my bare hands. Marcus and Jason stare, jaws dropped. I walk right up, crouch down, and drop the net perfectly over it. One smooth pull, tied off. Boom. Done. Marcus immediately loses his absolute mind. No way, bro. How are you even a real person? I just wave him off. Easy. I grab a nearby stick and tie the net. I lift the whole thing high and give it a shake. Behold the supreme artifact, the soul banner. Marcus and Jason stand completely speechless. I glance at my friends. Can you not feel it? That subtle aura of pure dominance radiating? Both shake their heads. Nope. I immediately push it closer. Really? Come check it out. Marcus frantically scrambles backward. I feel it. I feel it. It is super intense. Jason nods vigorously. Same here. Very intense. I laugh out loud and lean on my stick. Marcus looks at me, totally confused about where I am heading. I just shake the soul banner. I am delivering this to Professor Lee. He is the guy who introduced me to Kyle. And Kyle got me dragged right into that annoying pyramid scheme. This hornet nest is a super generous gift. The very least I can do is share. Jason's face twitches, but he eagerly trots right behind me anyway, clearly here for the drama. Halfway there my system happily chimes. One more lucky draw added. As we walk, I overhear a few nearby students gossiping. You and I both know where this is going, right? They are whispering about the upperclassmen who got scammed. Dean Carter had to pull major strings to rescue him. I clear my throat and wander straight over. Hey, any chance that guy was actually set up by his professor? They turn, instantly spot the buzzing soul banner in my hand, and scream. Oh my gosh, hornets, run. Marcus just stands there in pure disbelief. So that is why it is the supreme artifact. The aura alone clears the whole field. I lead them straight to Professor Lee's office. Just picturing Professor Lee's face when this unleashes. I'm already grinning like crazy inside. But when we arrive, the door is locked tight. I pull out my phone and call him. It rings for a full minute. Zero answer. I went through all this ridiculous trouble to bring him a thoughtful gift, and he is not here. I sigh. I guess Professor Lee just isn't destined for this blessing. Looks like Dean Carter gets it instead. Jason absolutely freezes, then backs away fast. No, Liam, are you completely out of your mind? You go. I am staying right here. I'm not getting mixed up in this. You are the department's golden boy. Nothing sticks to you. I do not have that kind of plot armor. And with that, he bolts. I scoff and walk straight toward the dean's office. Nobody around. That's where we leave it. Trust me, you want to see what happens next. Stick with me here. Marcus and I walk right into the empty admin building, and I peek through the doorway. Dean Carter, you around? He looks up, adjusting his glasses. Liam, come in. I step right inside and give the captured net a little shake. Dean Carter, I found a super dangerous object up on the roof. I contained it and brought it straight over. Hearing hazardous object, Dean Carter looks totally impressed. Good job. Excellent safety awareness. That initiative is highly commendable. He reaches out and grabs the net. What exactly is this? I instantly take 2 steps back. The soul banner. Dean Carter peers inside. His hand violently jerks, flinging the whole thing away. What the heck? The net smashes the wall. The loose knot blows open from the impact. A massive, dark cloud of angry hornets explodes outward. I bolt. Dean Carter's eyes go incredibly wide. His trembling finger points at someone hiding in the corner. Wendy. His fury absolutely boils over. He runs this entire university. Yet a student is secretly hiding right inside his own office, apparently only wanting to talk to another student, completely ignoring him. Anyone would be absolutely furious and totally baffled. I just freeze. I never expected to get dragged into this mess at all. How is this even my problem? Dean Carter barely holds his temper and orders me to get the full story fast. If anything sounds sketchy, he is handing me Wendy and Marcus a formal disciplinary mark immediately. He furiously storms off down the hallway, never looking back. I slowly walk over to Wendy, who is still sniffling. She shoots a nervous glance at Dean Carter, walking away. Then she drops her voice super low and explains the entire crazy situation. Earlier that morning, she bumped into a middle-aged man on the field. Now pay attention here. He asked about campus exits, then suddenly flashed a badge. She spotted the words National Level and Secret Agent. He claimed he was from the National Security Agency, hunting a dangerous foreign cell tied to the recent campus incident. His cover was completely blown. Claiming his presence was way too obvious, he desperately needed her to cover him. He flashed a sneaky photo of Dean Carter, claiming her phone was fully tapped. He warned that something terrible would happen if she refused to cooperate with his secret mission. Wendy thought about the wild stuff happening on campus. Panicking in that moment of pure fear, she actually believed him. She sneaked into the empty office and hid there, right until those exploding hornets and our loud noise totally blew her cover. The second I hear this, it is super obvious. She got completely played. A real intelligence operative would never, ever recruit a clueless student for cover. This is a total con, a pressure scam from start to finish. I pat her arm reassuringly. Do not worry. We need to tell Dean Carter everything right now, stopping this guy before anyone else gets scammed. Dean Carter just cannot wait. He turns around and marches right back. As I explain the crazy story, his expression darkens with every single word. He marches us straight into the security center. The second that video footage pops up, everyone in the room sharply gasps. Unbelievable, right? This fake agent has invaded the campus more than 10 times. Always hunting girls, walking totally alone. He sticks to camera blind spots, wearing glasses and a hat, leaving nothing but a blurry side profile on the screen. But his act was so incredibly convincing, every single one of them believed it. The dean quickly rushes a security team toward the women dormitories. 30 minutes later, a tense call comes through. A few frightened girls actually managed to break away before anything terrible happened to them. But some were not lucky. This terrible scammer made up a story about moving an injured comrade. He lured them completely off campus, kept them out late, and heavily manipulated them into checking into a hotel. He pushed the fake crisis until they were totally cornered, forcing them to comply while he ruthlessly stole their cash. They returned in pure silence, way too scared and ashamed. Dean Carter just stands there, visibly trembling, before ordering a complete information lockdown immediately. Every follow-up must be handled super carefully and quietly. The dean of students acknowledges this and hangs up. The empty hallway fills with absolutely nothing but Dean Carter pacing around and the heavy, crushing weight of our silence. Shortly after, 2 brand new rules pop up on the campus board. Never act on requests from unverified outside personnel. Second rule, do not hide any suspicious campus activity. Right at that exact moment, my system panel randomly pops up. 2 lucky draws awarded. I spin them immediately. Boom. The very next second, rapid face recognition drops into my skill set. A confident smile slowly tugs at my mouth. That scammer got away today. But this new skill is exactly what I need to help the police finally pin him down. Westport University peace completely shattered. So what do you and I take from this? Beneath this wild scam, even deeper secrets are probably hiding. It looks like my streak of walking into chaos is far from over.